Everyone, I'm Jutotep, the goddess astrologer and alchemical initiatrix, which means that I'm a soul coach. So I don't coach just at the level of the personality because it's just our house for our soul, and it's just Aries and that first house. We're going to get into the Capricorn New Moon. So this is colossal. This is massive upgrades in consciousness. This is the light returning. This is the beginning of winter. If you follow the solstice from one solstice to another, it's so beautiful to be connected. Here's the thing about us humans right now is everywhere is somewhere in their journey in a different place. But the thing is that if there wasn't so much light pollution, or if you lived out in the country, even in the country, you can have a giant light in your yard and still have light pollution. So, if we didn't have the light pollution, you'd step outside and you'd see the majestic sky, and it would be overwhelming how beautiful and the majesty of it. And it would overwhelm you with this sense of that interconnectedness between all of life, the stars, the cosmos, your place in the solar system, that we are galactic beings and we come here. The light goddess, this is all about divine feminine soulpreneurs. So we're going to get into this Capricorn new moon and what it means for you personally, doing the sun sign horoscopes. I do the new moon and full moon forecast on this YouTube channel, the Light Goddess YouTube channel, every month, and I'm going to have some more things coming up. So if you subscribe, then you will have it pop up right away and you can get this video and get your sun sign horoscopes. With your sun sign horoscopes, when we go to do those, look for your sun and your rising. Your sun is your solar chart, really powerful. Your rising is what your natal chart forecast and horoscope is. So you combine the two and you have a very powerful understanding of what this new moon is directly affecting the areas of your life, what you need to know. So we're going to get into that later, but we're going to go into this new moon forecast because this is Capricorn season. Capricorn, y'all, is about taking up space. It is Saturn. It is one sign of Saturn. Saturn co-rules Aquarius with Uranus, and Capricorn, and it rules Capricorn, right? And Capricorn is the associated zodiac sign of Saturn. But Saturn is always really interpreted very poorly by astrologers for the most part. Astrologers, it's time for us to evolve with evolution, with humanity, with ourselves. It's time for humanity to evolve. So we're all in these different places on the journey, right? And here's the thing about Saturn is that Saturn is amazing. Saturn is the space holder. There must be a space holder. It's like the banks of the river. The river is not a river if there's no banks. It is just dripping water. It's a puddle. It's water that's everywhere on the ground and soaking into the ground, and it's groundwater. It's just rain that falls. So it's not a river if you don't have the banks of the river. So Saturn is the banks of the river. Saturn is when you're driving and you have a fast car and you're driving around a curve. It's that putting the pedal down. You need to drive faster through a curve so that you don't start going all over the road. But if you go too fast, then you get out of control. So it's that titration. It's like just enough. It's measured. So there's always this restriction and limitation vibe around Saturn, but Saturn's a catalyst. So we want to realize that with this Capricorn new moon, this is a catalyst to new earth, to your next upgrade, to higher consciousness. So we're in new earth, but everyone's somewhere else on that journey. It's like, where are you at in consciousness? Where are you at on the map of consciousness? Let me share this with you and actually show you a little bit about this. Let me just get this pulled up, and this will make this really powerful when I share this. I love teaching on this. So check this out, and we're going to go into the charts. I'm channeling astrology to you tonight. We're going to get into oracle card readings. I'm going to go through all the sun sign horoscopes, but here we go. So let's check this out, because a lot of people don't understand the map of consciousness. This is Hawkins' work. So Dr. David Hawkins left us this amazing body of work, just like so many people have. And there's just so many people. I want to share more names with you of people that you can check out. And Alice Bailey is one of them. She did an amazing body of work that is really important. Demetra George, who's, I think she's in her 70s, and she's amazing, and she's done an amazing body of work, particularly for women. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, she's done this amazing body of work. She is our us women, she is our wise auntie, and she is out there doing the good work still to this day. She's like one of my favorite humans ever. So look at this map of consciousness, right? And so a lot of people haven't studied this or don't understand it. Okay. So what this is a logarithmic scale, and I can't draw a straight line with this stupid thing. I need like a Apple Pencil here. I remember my friend Amanda brought home her Apple Pencil and it had just come out, and she's like, look what we can do. And I was just like, what would I use that for? And now I just would use it for so much. But I'm going to use this Zoom pencil, crappy pencil thing here. So this is the map of consciousness. What this is a logarithmic scale. It uses kinesiology. Kinesiology is like muscle testing. So you can go to a nutritionist that does muscle testing to see if your body actually needs coconut oil. Maybe coconut oil is great, but maybe your body only wants a tablespoon a day, whereas somebody else can just eat as much as they want, right? So it's like muscle testing. It's where you do the arm test. Like you can test a CD music and see like certain music, classical typically makes has a really great muscle test response, and our bodies respond really beautifully to it. Hip hop often, especially, really objectifying women and talking about, avarice things, often, hip hop music, really the arm just goes weak. Our bodies go weak when we're around it. Our bodies go weak to fluorescent light. Here's the thing, depending on your level of consciousness, your body won't respond weak anymore to things that typically make most people weak. And here is this magic number, 200. This scale is a logarithmic scale. It's just a way to speak about something that if we don't have a way to speak about it, how do you work with the material, right? So it's not like this scale means something else, okay? But here's the thousands, the Buddha, Jesus, all of these avatars on earth are said to be at the 1,000, the pure consciousness, enlightenment, right? What we often talk about is love and above, this 540 mark. This is where it's love, and love makes reason basically irrelevant. So Einstein was at 499 on the scale. He was at this level of reason, the 400s. We often hear 4D. Well, what's the 4D? 4D is really that place of logic. It's that place of the logarithmic scale at 400, where it is reason and science and figuring things out and thinking and high intellectual mind. Nothing wrong with that. However, when we keep talking about consciousness, that bottoms out, and it no longer provides us levels of consciousness that understand spiritual soul world truth, life at the greater levels, like understanding the astral plane and understanding your astral body and the different levels of that, and understanding being a soul incarnated at all, the soul incarnate, this whole thing of being a soul, taking on a body and a personality, being on this earthly plane, doing this whole thing, and then having this whole soul part of us, and then having this ego that's always trying to run things and drive us into the ditch a lot of times, and wanting its needs met, and based largely off our shadow that we want to like go in and heal and clean the fuck up. That's traumatized from past life after past life after past life. There's all of this, right? So the level of 200, people that are below the level of 200, which before 2020 and this great awakening, it was most of the population was below 200, meaning that somebody would just as soon kill you, not even think twice about it, not even bat an eye. It's below the level of integrity, steal, lie, cheat, all these dark, evil things, because they're not at a high enough level for it to matter to them, for them to understand why they wouldn't want to do it. It just doesn't occur to people when they're under this 200 level. So this 200 level is also the level of courage, meaning that we actually have the courage to face the ego hurts, because it's only our ego. It's not the dark night of the soul, it's the dark night of the ego, right? it's only our ego that's gets all butt hurt and has an issue and has deep, seated fears that you can't even name because they're so deep in past lives and in our subconscious psyche, and has an issue with like looking bad or being disrespected, or all of these ego wounds and issues and the damaged egos out there that are often running things in the world, right? And it's this low level. Then if you just go to neutrality, over 2020 and 2021, so many people out there, so many influencers are really talking about, hey, can you be at the level of neutrality? And of course, in Alchemical Goddess, my coaching program, we work there a lot, because it's like, okay, maybe you can't get to like loving, but at least get to neutrality, to where you don't have your ego or some outside force running and puppeting you around, right? And here, you have anger, you have desire, you have fear, you have all of these below the level of 200, okay? So it's like guilt, apathy, like North Korea, it's a whole country that's basically apathy. It's so close to death. This is how close to death they are on the scale. This is death. This is weakness, okay? And their God view, their goddess view, so to speak, their view of like source of divinity is going to be vindictive, a vindictive God that punishes, right? If you're at the level of desire and you're desirous, it's only 125 on the scale, the map of consciousness here, then it's like this denying God view, like there's a God out there, but it denies you of what you desire and what you want. And then your view of the being of the divinity as you go up the scale to maybe you're in reason is like, okay, it's a wise God. Of course, I don't believe in God. I don't really perpetuate that, because a lot of people conflate God or a belief in a divinity with actually believing some sort of deity, humanoid type of being or consciousness is down looking at you and all that. And that's not how it works. We have guides, we have other beings from where we come from that are supporting us, that are in positions that we're going to be in once we master life and get off this karmic loop. And then we have the multiverse. It's not a universe, it's a multiverse, right? And it is aware and conscious, but it speaks in energy, and it's not conscious in the way that we think of consciousness and that we are. It's different. And there's so much more beyond that. I mean, the rabbit hole gets deep, but we're wanting to be at this level of love. Like love is 500. And then this higher unconditional love, it says joy here, but it's really this unconditional love where it doesn't have conditions of it. And it's not, it's just human nature to have conditions on love. Like, well, I love you until you talk to that person. Now I don't love you anymore. Or I love you until you treated me like shit, and now I don't love you anymore. But it's like, can you have unconditional love? This is 540 and above. And love is not romantic love. It's not, sensual, scintillating, infatuation. All of that is way below the level of 200. That's not love. This is talking about a level, a state of consciousness, divinity, divine love. So I'm going to get out of this, but I wanted to show you this a little bit. And this is some of the ways that I teach in the Goddess Retreat. If you want to deep dive with us and really turn the challenges in your birth chart and the challenges that you have in life, get to know yourself at the deepest levels and fall in love with yourself in such a beautiful way, because you start to understand your chart and why your planets are like this and what they mean. That's what we do in the Goddess Retreat. It starts, hard launch officially starts January 13th, the day after Mars goes direct. Jupiter will be in Aries. This is going to be a powerful pop forward in our lives. The energy is going to be magnanimous and amazing. And we're getting this beautiful week here that is really powerful. Leaps in consciousness, really jumping forward, quantum leaps forward in our lives and our understanding, insights, epiphanies, and the light, slowly starting to return. So we're going to go into the charts and all of this, but here's the thing about Capricorn. By the way, if you want to join us in the Goddess Retreat, you can go to my website, The Goddess Astrologer, and click the banner at the top of the page, and that's how you join us. It is $22 until the end of December, and then it's $23 at the beginning of 2023, and that's it. That's all you have to pay. You get a free birth chart, and then you're in every single week, and you come to the retreat every Friday, and you let yourself have a retreat day every week to just focus on you loving you more, gaining more self-intimacy as a woman, really getting in touch with your gifts and your power as a woman to step into greater revenue, greater money, greater visibility, to really be the powerhouse that you are, to be the greatness that you are as a woman in this world, radiating your light out there, being this big, massive light that you came here to be. And this big feminine voice. That's so important that we have this feminine voice. I came across some people this week that were making fun of somebody, and I just had to be a leader, and I understood why they were doing that, but I understood, kind of what was going on for them and just all the dynamics there. And I was just like, guys, this, do you really want to act like you're in high school? Like, really, do you really want to be making fun of somebody? Yes, this person need some socialization. They need some to pick up on social cues. They need some understanding about things. But what they don't understand, the person that was making fun of them, is that the person provided value in other ways that people aren't necessarily clued into, aren't going to see, but we all provide value to each other in different ways. Sometimes it's just showing what you don't want to do. Sometimes it's just showing where maybe you have grown and you were behaving like that at one time in your life, and you've grown and you're like, wow, I've really grown in my life. Somebody showing you how you've grown is a fucking gift. It's amazing. It's a really amazing gift. And it's one of the powerful things about sitting in sacred circle with other women, which we do in Light Goddess, my Facebook group, which is free. You can come and join. So you can just search Light Goddess Facebook group on Facebook. It's right there. I do channeling each week. I do astrology forecasts that don't show up here on YouTube. All right. So I want to share with you this whole winter solstice chart first and go into this. So I showed you the map of consciousness because what's so powerful of it, you start to realize when people talk about 5D, 4D, and 3D realities, and that 3D, it's like barely over the line. It's that neutrality, you hope, but it's like that. Is that a 3? Whatever that is. It's like a backwards E. It's Greek. I don't know what that is. And and it's like the 3D level. It's this material reality plane, and Capricorn is reality. Capricorn is said often to be responsibility and commitment and things like that. But here's the thing about Capricorn, and this is what we're going to talk about with Capricorn this week: moving the sun ingressing from Sagittarius into Capricorn season, the winter solstice, so important. This was such a celebrated time to our roots, especially as women, and the pagan history. And as women, we really celebrated this. It was the return of the light. It was an important time. It's in the middle of what we call the summer in the Northern Hemisphere. It's in June in the Southern Hemisphere, and it's in December in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's our winter. And if you really look at what the return of the light means, it's that this is the longest day of the year, the darkest day of the year before the light begins to return. And the darkness is Capricorn is fallow fields. It's the fertile void. It's where all this potentiality is and all this possibility. And that's the womb where the baby is growing. That's the starry night sky. When you look up into it and you see the starry night sky, and if you think about all of those pinholes of light, if you think about them being like cut out like a hole puncher, and you grab the rest of it down as if it was like a piece of paper with all these holes punched out, or a blanket, and you think about the starry night, and you're pulling it down like a blanket and wrapping it around you with all those pinholes punched out. That's the warm embrace of the feminine, of the divine mother, of the goddess holding us. It's the womb. Capricorn is a yin sign. Often yin is said to be the feminine signs. I tend not to interpret them that way because I think it's like really skewing astrology in ways that aren't helpful. But it's the yin, meaning the inward time. Capricorn is this winter inward looking time where we go into that fertile void. We fold within. in certain, climates, it's snow, it's socks, it's coats and bundling up, and the sound of the forest when the snow falls, and that quiet that's not quiet, but it's a different kind of quiet. It's beautiful and it's amazing, and it's the birds popping up, and the songbirds coming, and the snowbirds arriving in armies, and hot cocoa, and these things that we celebrate these times, and we cozy up with the people we love, and we get together and we gather and we celebrate. And so this Capricorn time, if you think about that it's a fertile void time, and we're having a Mercury retrograde on the 28th of December, it will turn retrograde, that we're going to have this last Mercury retrograde of the year and go into the new year like this. Why is that so important? Because it's a reviewing and a revising and a covering over the details in the ground of all of these planets being retrograde this year. Neptune turned direct recently and was retrograde since June. Saturn turned direct. Pluto turned direct. This is a big deal to have almost 8 planets retrograde at one point in the late summer and fall and autumn. I don't have my exact date off the top of my head. So we had almost 8 planets retrograde, and Venus took her trip through the underworld, being blocked out by the sun as a morning star. She likes to be an evening star. She's finally returning to us. You can't quite see her in the night sky, depending on where you're at in the United States just yet. I don't know about other parts of the world, but I'd have to really think about it. But I can't quite see her in the night sky just yet, depending on how late it is. But she's returning to us as an evening star where she loves to be. And so she's out of her trip through the underworld. We've had lots of out-of-bound planets, Mercury and Mars. Mars is out-of-bound until May 4th. Mercury is still out-of-bounds. Lilith, the goddesses are out-of-bounds. So we've had this out-of-bounds energy, like exploring otherworldly territory within society, within ourselves. That out-of-bounds energy takes us out of the rules and the guidelines that we think we have to follow, which is often said to be Capricorn and Saturnian. And however, it's the distortion. It's like, Uranus is about rebellion. What do you want to rebel against? Well, what you got? But that's not helpful if it doesn't help us to Saturn pull it in to rebel towards something greater, to innovate Uranus towards something worthwhile and that's greater. And so that's what we want to do. And so with this winter solstice, let's look at this chart. So this winter solstice, this sun at the last degrees of Sag. Over this past weekend, the sun was moving through the last degrees of Sag, which every year is the sun moving through the galactic center from whence we come, from where we come from, where our solar system comes. So this weekend, you probably felt a lot of stuff just filtering through your consciousness, through your memory, through your mind of the past. A lot of past stuff was most likely filtering up for you. Most likely you were probably like, what's going on? I heard people saying there was a lot of intensity, a lot of emotions, a lot of different things. That's because the sun was moving through the galactic center point, reviewing the past. These things arise within our psyche and our consciousness to be healed, to be looked at, to be revised, to be certain that we've grabbed the wisdom. When we have hurts and pains and issues, it's because we have not retrieved our power from those challenges in life. Those challenges did not occur for no reason. Often people are like, I just want to fix things. Why am I having this issue again? I thought I dealt with this. I just want to get through this. You don't understand you're exactly where you need to be, as much as it sucks so bad sometimes. It just does. It just sucks sometimes to be in a place where you just want this to be the way it is, or you just thought you were getting ground, or you just want to move forward, or you just want to finally not have this one fucking issue for again or for so long, right? But this is the thing, is that you haven't retrieved your power. You haven't learned the complete message. You haven't gained all the humility that your ego is being asked to gain. Our ego doesn't like the smackdown. It doesn't like humility. But when we go towards the ego death and humility, then we gain the compassion that allows us to radiate light and bring light here to this plane of existence, and to illuminate and to heal the illusions in the astral field that are the matrix. We say the matrix. What is the matrix? The matrix is programming. It's not the Capricornian, Saturnian structures and the skyscrapers and the CEOs and all of that, even though sort of, right? It's the programming that people are living by. The ideals, the illusions. It's called glamour, or it's called illusions. It's all of these illusions in the astral field. You have an astral body. There's the astral field that's in and around us all. It's through our bodies. It's through our world. It's through the planets. It's through our solar system. It's all existing together. And that's the matrix, where there's all of these really, really ancient ideals and programs and conditioning and thoughts and thought viruses and thought ways to look at the world that people are still living by. And we're still trying to color in between these lines. And that's why people make fun of other people, because they feel so inferior and so insecure, or they feel so triggered that somebody was all pervy and weird on them, and they don't know how to deal with it in a better way because they haven't healed that yet. There's so many layers to all this human condition stuff. But here's the thing, if we don't ever fucking deal with our own shadow, we never radiate our light and step into our greatness at the highest levels. And don't we just want to live the dream life? And that's what it's about, is like dealing with the shit inside that stops us from actually stepping into our greatness. There's so many people that just want to be great and the first and the best, these superlatives that are Capricornian, that are in our culture. But here's the thing, we're supposed to be leaders amongst leaders. We all have greatness. So if we just stop focusing on trying to be the best and the first, and just actually step into our own greatness and just be that amazingness of who we are, and realize that we have this to bring, and focus on what we're trying to create, this world is changing because people are doing just that. And so it's like, are you doing that in your life? And so we must deal with the shadow as it arises and comes up. So going through this past weekend, you probably had that, but you also had downloads and insights and information. You had things working out in your psychic consciousness coming too. Jupiter, the ruler of Sag, is at 0 degrees Aries at the time of this winter solstice event. And so this is beautiful. Jupiter's finally out of that 29-degree mark of Pisces, where we were kind of just drowning in all of these emotions. It was just so many emotions, often all of them all at once. Oh my gosh. And it was important. It was review. It was refining. It was going over again all the territory of healing, working things out of our psyche, all of going over the shadow. Again, why? Because that's what makes us able to radiate light and to go up that map of consciousness into greater and greater levels of consciousness and love, greater and greater levels of shining light and radiating light. The Buddha is said to have had an astral field that was 3 miles big outside of his body, radiating love, radiating that enlightenment to the people, anchoring this pillar of light on the planet. Capricorn season is about the light returning. So Capricorn is about the return. That's not what I wanted to say. Capricorn is about taking up space. So let's look at this. So Jupiter is in Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Here's the thing, is that this is a way I teach. This is what I want you to think about when you think about maybe coming into the goddess retreat with us and sitting with other women in sacred space. And you'll kind of like see the ring light on there, but just ignore that. The whole whiteboard thing, I love whiteboards and teaching with them because they're just so great. But yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass a little bit here. But here's the zodiac, right? And so many people, they're Aries heavy in their chart, or they're Capricorn heavy in their chart, right? And so they're just living one sign of their chart really heavily, and then not even living it like to the best way they could live it, consciously and beautifully, right? And so, and here you go. Now you can actually see this. Does that help? And so we have to realize that these are the axes. So it's not like there's just 12 signs. There's really just these 6 axes, and Taurus is one side of the coin and Scorpio is the other side of the coin of that axis. And so we have to realize that that life is astrology, and all of astrology is life. So we don't want to just overdo Aries or underdo Aries and do too much Libra. We don't want to overdo. If we try to do Leo and we don't have humanity, Aquarius, then we have nobody to watch us on stage, Leo. So it's like, how are we doing Virgo, but we have no Pisces, the dream, Pisces is how we dream everything into being. You can actually change the world through your mind. When you have a difficulty with another person, I want you to try some Pisces and send them love from your heart for real, and then see if that problem actually works itself out. I promise you it will. We have the ability with Neptune and Pisces to change our world simply with love and emotions in our mind. We are insanely powerful, and it's time for us to start using the faculties of our mind for the light, for the good. And, Virgo is great, but without Pisces, it sucks. And too much Pisces without Virgo discernment means you get into trouble and you have issues and you are taken advantage of. This Sagittarius without this truth, Gemini is a check and balance to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the vision, and it's the going out on a vision quest and a journey, and it's understanding and learning and the scholarliness, but without the truth and without the magic of Gemini, that's just so magical, and the intuition and the listening ability of Gemini. Sag is just dogmatic, and it's a roamer, and it's infidelis, and it just doesn't care about it. It's all over the place. It's scattered. Scorpio is the dark side. It's the mafia and strip clubs and the underworld. And so without Taurus, then we can't have this deep depth and this power, and it doesn't matter without the beauty and the ducks and the trees and the peace and the simplicity. Scorpio is very complex, but on the other side of the coin of Scorpio is also this black and whiteness where it's like, it's got to be all or nothing. Aquarius can be very all or nothing as well. And, Cancer, too much at home. We don't build anything and fly. Capricorn's about flying. It's our wings, and Cancer is our roots and our foundation, our groundedness. So it's like we need all 12 signs of the zodiac. We need to do them all. Are we doing them? Are we doing them consciously? Are we doing them unconsciously? Are we doing distorted Capricorn, which we've been doing in our society for a really long time? Most society has only valued Capricorn. It's been missing the rest of the zodiac. It's been missing Aries. It's been missing Aries, which is identity and personality. And so many people are just drab and bland and don't really have much of a unique who they are-ness. And people aren't doing Taurus. That's why we have Taurus North Node for 6 more months only, because it's about peace, it's about simplicity, it's about understanding the value within yourself, because we're going to move into Aries North Node next summer, and the nodes are going to be squared all year next year. So what does that mean? It's that we're really being asked to make some decisions, make some choices, to take some actions on Taurus North Node and then on Aries North Node. Taurus North Node is saying, hey, are you standing in the resource of who you are and realizing how resourceful you are as a person, standing on your own 2 feet and valuing yourself? But to value yourself, there's a symbiosis between life, but are you tolerating the psychodramas and the dark depravities in society and culture, the negative Scorpio? Since Scorpios are South Node, we have to look at it and skew it negatively. Are you tolerating bad behavior so you can feel like you fit in, so you can feel like you're loved and approved of? Are you letting people treat you horribly and abuse you? And so it's like saying, are you standing in your value, Taurus? Do you realize the value that you have and demand it, but yet in a way that's symbiotic with the rest of life? So we have to look at Capricorn, and we'll go back to the charts and realize that and if you're really interested in learning the zodiac in this way and living it and realizing that all of life is astrology is all of life, when you understand it this way and you start to understand that every single thing in life you can put into a sign, a planet, a house, and you start to really understand it deeply and realize that you do know astrology. I promise you, you know astrology. You are astrology. We are it. We are the stars. Again, if that light pollution wasn't there, you'd go out to the night sky every night and you'd feel that interconnectedness that we once lived as if it was the most normal thing in the whole world, which it is. It's the most natural thing in the whole world, and we're missing that. Like, I really encourage you before the end of the year to take some country drive somewhere where you can actually see a night sky where it is filled with all of the stars, because you forget if you don't ever get to see that. And have you seen that once this year? Have you once seen that this year? The night sky filled with everything that it's filled with. It's so full. If you go to certain places in the world, you will see not one blank spot in the sky because there's so much there. And so what we want to realize is our interconnectedness to it all. And that Capricorn is this fertile void, this fallow period. And now that we're coming out of the weekend and the sun will be moving and ingressing into Capricorn, Jupiter's in Aries now, talking about our identity. Jupiter's finished with Pisces and has made it through retrogrades there, has had that conjunction with Neptune April 12th, where Jupiter and Neptune got together in their home of Pisces and talked and started a new cycle of life of Pisces, soul connected life, spirit, souls, us knowing that we are soul in a body, living this life, bringing Pisces divine love, compassion, unconditional caring, radiating soul, remembering heart and who we are. If we go into this Aquarian age and just do the techno dystopian, everybody being the same, and we do it that way, and we miss the heart and the love of Pisces and the heart of Leo, the opposite of Aquarius, that balances out Aquarius, that anchors it, then we're missing the whole thing altogether. So this conjunction in April was the beginning of magic and love and this higher state of consciousness and state of being on the map of consciousness. This is where we're trying to be. This is why Chiron is going through Aries right now, because it's helping us to heal our wounded egos and our damaged egos and all the people out there to be confronted with our shadow, with our ego issues. Do you have your own personality identity, or did you try to be like everyone else since high school? Did you try to just fit in? Because Aquarius can be trying to fit in, or Aquarius can be the outcast and the one that's outside of everything. And it can be the rebel just for rebel's sake, where it's not serving the purpose of innovation and inventiveness. So it's like this Chiron, the wounded healer, the centaur, the metamorphosis that's between the horse and the humanoid, that's between the worlds, that is this morphing and holding this space of us, the butterfly transformation, that we go through the darknesses to gain more compassion and healing, which is all that Pisces energy. Are we dealing with our egos in a way that's serving and allowing our soul to be the microphone, to be front and center, to be running the show for us, to have love running things? Are we making decisions from our heart? Are we consulting our heart? Is our heart even present, or is it our mind and our ego, our personality and our ego, just running around trying to get its desires met, being offended and defensive and fighting to the death for its honor, when it misinterpreted the situation completely to begin with? And it's not hearing Pisces, our intuition. This conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune in April was about humanity changing into a feeling Pisces species instead of a mentalizing species, which we've been for a very long time, which has run us in the ditch and kept us from evolving together as a species and kept us dividing and fighting each other. Yes, there's darkness out there. Yep, it's everywhere. And it's, kind of this virus that infects places that people don't even realize they're getting infected by it. And yet darkness and light are two resolving halves of the whole. The yin and the yang, it is. So we have to stop fighting each other and start just creating what you want to see in the world, as trite as that might seem. Create what you are here to create. Radiate your light. Step into that higher frequency of love. Step into your heart. Let your heart lead the show. Let your feminine guide you. Don't be afraid to trust your feminine energies as a woman to Capricorn in a different way. Don't stop. I really encourage you to stop doing the distorted Capricorn. We have this Capricorn new moon, these leaps and jumps in consciousness happening this week. I really encourage you to do this Capricorn differently, to really envision the new way to do Capricorn in your life, which is commitment. It's a catalyzingness, a catalyst of potentiality into what you're making into this reality. It's making the Sagittarius vision that we crafted. Sagittarius is the architect. So we did all that Sagittarius time where Venus and Mercury were in Sag and the sun was in Sag, and we were building and going on the vision quest and the dream quest and being the architect of our dreams, of our vision. And now we're in Capricorn. We're coming into Capricorn to build it into the tangible reality, meaning this commitment, meaning you're going to take up space in this world as a woman, but taking up space from your heart, taking up space from love, taking up space from Pisces, intuition. That's why we just went through this massive Pisces this year, to reorient ourselves to the truth of running our lives off intuition. Pisces is the feminine. It's a deeply yin feminine sign. It's the feelings. It's not the emotionality that doesn't help us. We have that. That's why we learn to master our emotions, work with our emotions. We do that deep work in my coaching program. We do that deep work on my podcast for free. You can learn how to help yourself with your emotions for free. On the over 450 episodes of the podcast, you can dig into it and find the episodes I do on emotions and support yourself. And like, how do I deal with fucking rage? How do I deal with all this sadness? How do I deal with so many emotions? What do I do with them? But Pisces, rather, us being a species of emotions, of feelings, meaning that we feel our way through life. We're listening to the symbiosis of all of life. We're listening to the stars. We're living our life by the stars, co-creating with all of life because we're listening to it. And we're listening to our own feminine, our own higher self channeling through us, always there, connected to it, running our lives and doing life based on that. This different way to do Capricorn. Now we're going into Capricorn season, and then Jupiter's in Aries saying, hey, at the 0 degree mark, when the sun's at this last degree of Sag here, and saying, let's step into this new identity of a healed, healthy ego that allows higher self to run this being, this personality on intuition, on feminine knowing, on feminine wisdom, on genius bubbling up because we trust our joy. Joy is a higher state of consciousness that allows mental clarity and astral clarity. The clarity of your emotions clears up when you have greater joy. Sometimes we've been taught and socialized and conditioned to not trust joy because it means, well, maybe you'll get abused. Maybe you'll get taken down. You were told it wasn't allowed. It wasn't okay. It was irresponsible, which is often a Capricornian thing, irresponsible. But responsibility is all about your ability to respond in the moment as it occurs, not being fixed. Distorted Capricorn can get really fixed and dogmatic on ideas and just stay in this lane. And this is how it has to be. And you disrespected me. And it can just be very rigid and very just limited and narrow, and that you cannot build and take up space in the world when you're narrow. Taking up space in the world as a woman and as a being means that you have the ability to respond in the moment. You have the ability to understand what's needed because you're listening. You're Gemini. You're not just one way talking, you're hearing through intuition. Gemini is the two halves of the brain. The intuition must be paired with the other. The other is running us into the ditch as humanity. We've already seen that. It's an old paradigm. We've done that. So it's the intuition to run things off the intuition. So then we have Venus that's well into Capricorn, with Mercury. And, Mercury's and Venus are going to go meet up with Pluto later. And so and so with Pluto being in the last degrees of Capricorn and going to, pop into Aquarius next year for a couple months and then move back into Capricorn for this final pass through, which is a revising and editing time before Pluto moves out of Capricorn for good in our lifetime. We'll never see that again in our lifetime because it has a 240-year cycle. So this Aquarius next year's Pluto in Aquarius is going to be a big deal. Humanity is going to respond in a lot of different ways. You know, some people are going to be freaking out. Some people are going to be so ready and happy and just like, finally, things are shifting, and people are going to respond in a lot of different ways. This Venus in Capricorn here, she is here about receiving the intuitive way to build. Capricorn's the builder. It's the constructor of reality. It's the taking of space. It's the holding of space for the vision that we visioned in Sag. So Venus here now is that divine feminine energy. And it's all the relationships about, are we holding this space holding for the reality that we visioned in Sagittarius? We've been doing that, and Mars being retrograde in Gemini, it's been this deep review, this deep rewiring of our masculine energies, of our pushing energies, of doing things differently in society and culture in the world, changing these paradigms at a deep level individually for us all and collectively together. And so Mercury here in Capricorn is communicating the commitment, the devotion, the confidence to take up space in this world. Are you taking up space in this world? Are you believing and radiating your light? Are you confident? That's what this is about. And so this is so powerful and so important. And when we look at Capricorn, we must look at Saturn. And Saturn is in Aquarius, the sign of humanity, the sign of the collective, of people, and the sign of doing Saturn society differently based upon vibe match, rather than based upon power, domination, control, power over all of the old mechanisms that society function on hierarchy. The distorted Saturn and Capricorn is hierarchy and caste systems. And you know how you go into those social circles where people are like, how long have you been doing this? How old are you? All of these ways people categorize each other. It's so bizarre how, after I really consciously made the effort to, I never speak about age because there's so many cultural narratives that I don't want to partake in those illusions and perpetuate them, or also, program myself with them and be living under those. So I just don't believe in age. I don't talk about age. And people, as I stop, and there's other things, people ask me how long I've been training acrobatics and different things. And I just stopped answering those questions. I stopped dealing with that altogether. I don't ask other people. And instead I'm like, oh my gosh, like what, tricks are you working on right now? Like, what are you working on in your practice? Instead, I talk to them about the present moment dreams they're having and creating right now. Like, what are you working on right now? And it's like, oh, I'm working on doing a foot to hand with a single mono foot to hand. Well, that's a high level trick. And it's like fascinating. It's like, cool. Like, tell me about that. And how's it going? And like, we're in the present moment talking about what we're doing and creating right now. Like, we have the vision and the dream of it, Neptune, Sagittarius, but we also have the reality, the Capricorn, the Saturn that we're building and doing and working on right now, and the commitment and the dedication and the devotion of doing these acrobatic tricks right now, right here. Why do I care about when you started doing something? That doesn't make you better or worse, because you could have had time that you didn't train in the middle between then and now. Or does that mean you're supposed to be at this level? It's all hierarchy and caste system. It's all distorted Saturn, distorted Capricorn. All right. So this, y'all, this time of this ingress and this winter solstice, this is different. We have so much flooding of consciousness, of photonic light. We are having the magnetic shield of the earth is down. This is something we don't experience in human existence very frequently, and we're experiencing it now over this large swath of time, which means photonic galactic energy is pouring in, dawning us with more consciousness, raising our frequency, raising our consciousness, helping humanity to elevate. So I think that's I could go on about this chart for a really long time, but those are the important things I think is really important to cover and understand about Capricorn. All you think about Capricorn is taking up space. How are you going to take up space in this world as a woman? What do you have to deal with to do that? What do you have to deal with to stand in your confidence? Where in your life are you not taking up space? And why? So let's go over this new moon. I'm going to do the sun sign horoscopes for all 12 signs. Let's see. Okay, cool. So, this new moon is happening at 1 degree 32 minutes. So it's 1 degree. It's one of 4 new moons that are happening at 1 degree. If you were there with the last, with the Sagittarius new moon video I did 2 videos ago, it was the first of 4 new moons at 1 degree. 1 degree means a beginning point. It's a beginning. And so we have 4 new moons, new moon being a beginning, being the start of the moon cycle, being the time that women would gather together in the forest to vision for our people, to hear and listen and get the downloads of the vision for our people and where we're meant to go. What were the insights? What were the understandings? What were the new unfoldings and evolutions? And so this new moon is this time of visioning. It's often a wishing time. It's a creating in our mind what we want to see. Put love with it all and use the faculty of your imagination for not the doom. Do not listen to that shit out there. Anybody that is dooming on anything and giving you doom stories and fear and World War III bullshit, it's bullshit. That's not real. That's not real. And if you buy into that, you are going to create that in your mind and you're going to experience that. The rest of the world is experiencing 5D because it is now. The new earth is now. It has happened. It is happening. Uranus went into Taurus in 2018 to 2026. Taurus is the divine feminine. Uranus is awakening. It awakened women, but also humanity, because the feminine principle is within humanity. It awakened the divine feminine again to come back, which means that we must go through rage and anger, because the suppression of the feminine creates rage and anger, because that is what happens when you suppress the feminine energy. There, we must heal. Every woman, every person must heal the anger and the rage of their feminine being suppressed, and that includes men. Because the suppression of your emotions as a man, which so many men have their emotions suppressed. It's not masculine to have emotions. And then it comes out in really weird ways. And a lot of men are really awkward and really weird. And there's a lot of the perverted off stuff going on because they just weren't allowed to have the feminine principle be loud, and their masculine principle was distorted and toxic. Women have had so much going on that we have healed and are healing, and that we're doing this massive, amazing work for the collective, for humanity, for the universe, because so in the soul, so in the universe. So this divine feminine awakening that started happening, where women started waking up to how they were suppressing their feminine, or had been suppressed, or the suppression for the last 5,000 years. It's been happening. Women are rising and waking up all across the planet. There's so many journeys on that journey. There's so many phases on that journey of anger and rage and hurt and pain and fear and terror because of what's occurred past life after past life. This new moon is the second of 4 new moons at 1 degree beginning. New moon, 1 degree beginning. Jupiter is in Aries at 0 degrees beginning a new cycle. It's out of the retrograde cycle. Jupiter is finally. And then next year, when we have the Aries new moon in the springtime, when we have the spring equinox, we follow the solstice, this winter solstice, to the next solstice, which is in the summer. And when you follow that, you follow the rhythms of life, and you follow that interconnectedness with all of life. That's the natural rhythms of the feminine, which is inside all humans. And that's when we're disconnected from that. We're disconnected from our world, from our habitat. That's when we poison the waters. That's when we create poisons. That's when people do evil and do darkness. And that's when we fight and we're divided and we are suppressing the greatness within humanity and trying to be best and dominating and the authoritarian. And that is all changed. It is already changed. We don't need to dismantle patriarchy. We don't need to dismantle the old systems. They are crumbling and being dismantled by Pluto, because Pluto says that isn't helping us grow any longer. We've hit the limit. This isn't good for any of us anymore. So it's crumbling. But all we need to do is focus on our new beginning here. And when we have that Aries, that 5th new moon, it'll be at 0 degrees Aries. It'll be on the world axis. It'll be massive, big changes for the world, that spring equinox. Right now, we have this massive leap in consciousness that's moving us into massive upgrades come March. Pluto's going to change signs into Aquarius. Saturn's going to change signs into Pisces. Massive changes in the energy. You will not have felt energy like this ever. This is going to be really, really different. You've never felt energies like this because you've never had Pluto in Aquarius in your lifetime. So and then we're going to have that new moon on the world axis point. So we have so much that is changing finally in 2023. And then when Pluto goes into Aquarius in 2024, I mean, this 10-year period, this is powerful. But next year, we're finally getting out of the energies of the last 2 years of the Pluto-Saturn conjunction. We're finally getting out of that stuff, that negative Capricorn, dark, old, heavy, limiting, restrictive, hold society down, stay in the old paradigms types of energy. We're finally moving out of that. And it takes all of us individually to dream a different dream with love and intuition and our feminine energy. So the new moon and the sun at Capricorn being about taking up space. How are you going to take up space in this world, goddess? Where are you not taking up space in your life? Where are you not confident? How are you going to vision something different? Capricorn being ruled by Saturn at 21 degrees of Aquarius with a quintile to Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith being our woman, our power as women, where we must heal the rage and the anger of being suppressed and demonized as women, demonized as sexually controlling men, like the mythology of Odysseus and the supposed women singing songs to put them into trance. Or can men not just control their dicks? We are dealing with this stuff for real. These mythologies are not mythology. This life is symbolic. Everything means something. Everything has meaning. Life is talking to us at all times. Your guides are talking to you. The animals are talking to you. Whatever that you love and protect guide you through life, whether it's animals or butterflies or birds or colors or children, like whatever it is for you, imagination, books, words. And so we have the stellium of Venus in Capricorn, Mercury in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, of course, and then the sun and this moon in Capricorn. All this Capricorn is about the return of the light, doing it differently. Saturn and Aquarius, when we have this new moon at 1 degree, this new beginning with Jupiter and Aries, is saying we're doing humanity not based on the old paradigm of control, domination, power over, and service to self, narcissism, emotional manipulation, wounded and damaged egos out there abusing people, and people not being so accustomed to abuse and dysfunction that they don't even realize it and just kind of deal with it, or they were kind of trapped in situations where they couldn't really do anything about it. No more. That is no more. There's the internet, you have your own businesses, you can do everything, you can get out of anything. There's nothing you have to do. That's old paradigm. There's no shoulds. Distorted Saturn and Capricorn is shoulds. Where are you shoulding in your life? Let go of the shoulds. I really encourage you to make a list of everything like in your phone, because you always have your phone with you, of all the shoulds. So how are you telling yourself constantly in your mind, I should be this, I should be a different weight, I should be eating something different, I should be doing something different with my schedule and my time and my energy and with different people, or I should be this, I should be that in society, I should look this way, I should have this. What are the shoulds? Because this will tell you how Capricorn is distorted in your life. And when you start to pull apart the shoulds in your life, you will be able to do this new Capricorn differently and come from your heart and come from this Venus divine feminine energy in Capricorn, where she's saying, I'm going to hold space with this quintile to Lilith that says, I must heal the anger and the rage to stand in my power. With Lilith out of bounds in retrograde, she's revising and editing her power. She's revising and editing where she stands in her power as a divine feminine, and all of the wounds and the hurts and the issues that are standing in the way of standing in her power. And going through Cancer, which is our foundation. It's our deep emotional inner world where we're hurt, where we're nonverbal, where we don't even know how to verbalize what is going on in there. It's all of our emotions. We're going through a revision, all of that, a healing of all of that. And it's out of bounds energy, meaning that we're getting a lot of galactic help, and where we have to do massive sacred rage practice, make the wounds bigger in a ritualized way with candles and singing, dancing, screaming, breaking glass, whatever you need to do to heal it, purge it, and release it. There are practices. We do all of this types of stuff in the Goddess Retreat and Alchemical Goddess, my coaching program, and Light Goddess, the podcast has so many episodes for free on this. So there's so much free support here for you. Do you subscribe to the podcast, then you can get all the old episodes and listen to them. There's a wealth of information there. This quintile is all about creativity, flow, answers coming in, answers to how you heal issues with your power as a woman, how you heal issues of being dominated or dominating others. This Saturn wants us to look at where we want to be controlled and where we're controlling, and to let go of wanting to be controlled because we want somebody to tell us what to do, because we don't want to have to stand up and face that. What do we build our reality upon if somebody else doesn't give us the lines, the rule books, the roads, the structures of everything? Then we have to create them for ourselves. And what are they? And do we lose the meaning of life? Do we lose our grip on reality? This is big stuff that we're dealing with. And we get to create anew from our vision of love, of everything that's not of this higher consciousness, no longer being able to stand and remain, of humanity being a people of leaders amongst other leaders, of us all standing in our greatness and uniqueness, being unique and different and wild and free, no longer controlled by others with other agendas than people radiating their light and being free and being creative beings, loving and creating and having the amazingness in life, what makes life worthy of living. So the Saturn here with this quintile, which literally is the only aspect, unless I pull up a bunch of different asteroids and stuff, which I could have done, but this is what is really important, is that this Saturn that is the dispositor of this new moon is saying that this is about the feminine within humanity regaining power, healing the rage and the anger of the suppression and the demonization and the destruction of the feminine, the destruction of Mother Earth, the destruction of our waters, the sweet water. Water is the feminine. The destruction of our air, of our food systems, of the lakes having, outgrowths of horrible algae that you can't drink the water, and it kills off the life in the water because of the eutrophication of the nitrogen coming from the fields, because of all the spraying, the monocrops, the horrible ways that we're doing all these big systems, which is Capricorn in society, no more. So this is about doing everything new again. This sun and moon have these squares to Ceres, which is the mother. So how has the mother not been revered? Capricorn is reverence. Do we have reverence for the feminine energies? Do we have reverence for the fecundity, creative, procreative nature of the feminine, of fertility, abundance? In Libra, about relationships, the abundance of our relationships, of people realizing the resource that we are to each other, that not one person is better than another, that both people come together and offer each other something. Most people have yet to learn how abundant we are as a resource to each other. People are afraid to ask for help. People are afraid to receive help, of what it means if they receive help, that they're not doing a good job, or they're not worthy, or they're not good enough, or to ask for help. Like, God forbid, if a Virgo asks for help, right? And what does that mean if you ask for help? But do you understand that if you don't ask for help, you take away the other person seeing that they matter and that they're valuable because they get to help you? These are the deep things that we're all waking up to in this culture, realizing that the symbiosis, relationships. Next summer, the South Node's going to go into Libra, all about healing relationships, healing codependency, healing all of these issues of not being interdependent and being codependent, being people pleasing, being fair to other people, but not yourself, not being able to receive, and over giving. It's like, give other people the chance to give to you. That's how they know their value and that they matter, and how they even get to like see their genius bubble up within them, that maybe they were never given the space to even know that it exists at all. Particularly as a woman. So these squares here are about making big decisions on standing in your divine feminine energies in your relationships, and standing in the power of being interconnected, being partners. Libra is about partnership, not codependence is distorted Libra, not, giving too much, not being, Libra sees from all angles. It's very diplomatic and it's very fair, but it can be too fair and not fair to itself. It's about interdependence. This quintile from Venus to Mars retrograde in Gemini is, it's Mars and Venus. It's this flow of energy and creative solutions around our deep intuition, the masculine being reoriented to intuition instead of the mind dominating, because the masculine runs on intuition too, and it's not distorted and toxic, and intuitively knows when to protect, when to be alert, when to go off in a pointed direction, when to hold space, when to let go, when to gather around and hold, like the banks of the river, when to hold the river in, when to let the river go and go over a waterfall to create a beautiful waterfall. We need the waterfall just as we need the other parts, the ocean and the rivers and the streams and all of the parts of it. So really important stuff here. We have the septile from Juno to the North Node. And the septile Juno is all about our relationships, and Pisces are they coming from soul? Are they coming from intuition, based upon intuition and feeling? Does this relationship feel good? Does it feel bad? Does it feel perverted? Does it feel prurient? Does it feel manipulated? Does it feel controlling? Does it lift me up? Am I better because of this relationship? Am I bringing love? Am I bringing head drama that's creating more drama? Or am I bringing love to the situation, which gives it the best chance of blooming and flowering? Is it manipulative and controlling and authoritative? Is it people just living through their shadows? And this North Node about where we're meant to go in humanity, of no longer doing fixed earth, but understanding the resource that we are within ourselves, the value that we have, the feeling valuable instead of feeling insecure. like honoring your value, having Capricorn reverence for the value that you are as a person, for the value of just being. Being is the feminine, being the light. That has so much value of inspiring people, lifting people up, encouraging that anchor of light that you might be in a group that you participate in, could be lifting the consciousness of all of those people simply by being. And so many people, so many women are like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? Can you be the pillar of light? Radiate your light, be in your heart, shine the love, accept, love people, care about people. And obviously with that Virgo discernment, it's not about allowing manipulation or control and dominance and these things to stand, people with damaged egos to abuse. It's saying no to that. That's very, very loving to yourself and all of humanity, to not tolerate that. And there's a way to do that. These sextiles from Mercury to Neptune and Jupiter, my chart is so full. Mercury and Capricorn, our perspective on holding space, commitment, and devotion to our business, bringing light, helping others heal, helping humanity awaken, helping humanity raise on the levels of consciousness, to awaken to their genius, their beauty, to realize, to let go of the jealousies and the issues, and to let us all be in our greatness. These sextiles are positive harmonic aspects, saying that there's so much here for soul to be awakened and alive in our perspectives and our mind, and for the Mercury Capricorn to be committed based on intuition and soul and heart and intuition. And so, you know, there's so much that I could go into here, but this is just, it's so important. This opposition of Venus to Lilith is really massive, because it means that we are meant to integrate our parts of Lilith issues, integrate the healing that needs to be done, which is anger and rage release, and dealing with all that, to stand in your power, the revision that Lilith is doing, that help she's getting with being out of bounds, to integrate that with Venus being in Capricorn, about building this vision of this life, taking up space as a woman, being a powerful woman, coming from love, being in your heart, being vulnerable, and it not meaning that you're weak, and it not meaning that you're naive or get overpowered or dominated or are controlled. It takes a lot of journey, and it's all of us together doing it together, keeps changing the morphogenic field, so it's easier and easier and easier for more women. And we're all holding the space together, which means it makes it way more powerful when women come together. We are so powerful, and we create with our imaginations and our dream, and bringing that love and bringing that intuition. And we're so helping the world step in to these places and no longer tolerate the old paradigms, the old behavior, the old hierarchy, and all the distorted Capricorn and Saturn. So where is this for you in your chart? Where are you going to take up space? Where are you going to step into confidence? Where are you going to look and heal where you're haven't been taking up space in this world and standing in your confidence? So this is what we're going to go over for all 12 signs. And I'm going to pull cards for everyone. Let me just get this chart ready. Okay. Okay, yeah. So we're going to start with Aries. I'll have the chapters. Once this video airs, I'll go back and put the chapters in. So if you view it right away, it might take me whenever the hell I wake up and whatever and put the chapters in. So just give me a little bit of time, but the chapters will be there. And then you'll be able to go right to your rising sign or right to your sun sign. If you're loving these videos, please subscribe to the channel. It's a growing YouTube channel, the algorithms, different things, different factors. So if you want to keep seeing these videos and they're really supporting you, subscribe, and then they'll pop up in your feed. You won't have to think about it. And also it'll just help other women find this amazing work and get this information. If you like this video, if you like anything in this video, please like the video, because that helps with the algorithms and the metrics. I really appreciate that support and helping this channel grow. And also, if you want to deep dive into your personal astrology and really upgrade, go through the soul upgrades with other women in sacred community and sacred container, then you can join us in the goddess retreat, and you can go to the link at the top of thegoddessastrologer.com to join us. It is $22 until the end of the year. So you can't beat it. And we're going to be going over one planet each week. We're going to just take each week and sink into this retreat time, this hour of time we spend together for yourself. You'll get the email with all the details. And it's incredibly powerful when you start to get to know yourself through your chart. You love yourself at depths and levels that you never thought possible, which allows you the confidence and it allows you to take up space in this world. Just what this new moon is all about. The official launch is January 13th. We've had 3 classes. I did a soft launch in December. It was so fun to just be a bunch of women on the call talking about where this planet is, what sign and house it's in, and how it works for us, how it works for other people we know, like why people behave this way. And you start to really understand astrology in ways you never thought possible. And you realize that astrology is just 100% so natural. You do know it. It's in your heart. It is you. And you get to know yourself at a deep, deep level. So go to thegoddessastrologer.com, click the banner at the top of the webpage, and that is how you can join us in the Goddess Retreat. If you would like to book an astrology reading or get a certificate, a gift certificate for somebody for the holidays or for a gift or for a New Year's gift, you can do that at thegoddessastrologer.com by booking there, and you can put into the comments that it's a gift certificate and all of that, and I will get you a gift certificate. If you'd like to do it, purchase it for someone else. If you'd like to purchase it for yourself, you can do that there at thegoddessastrologer.com. And it's free to join Light Goddess, the Facebook group. This is a sisterhood of divine feminine soulpreneurs, women who are awakened, have gifts, have intuition, are healing, are doing the inner work, who are awake and raising frequency and consciousness and helping others do the same, and making massive businesses and platforms and entrepreneurial endeavors to bring healing to the world, guidance to the world, to bring amazing spiritual technology and information, and are making money. So it's our value system that is reflected in society and culture, the feminine value system of love and compassion and care for other humans and care for the evolution of humanity. And so you can join the Facebook group for free. And I do channeling each week. I do astrology forecasts daily that are short and quick snippets. So you're not on there forever, but you can keep up with the daily astrology. And so I recommend coming over to the Facebook group, Light Goddess Facebook group, and joining for free to join us in community. I'd love to see you there. All right, I'm going to go into sun sign horoscopes for all 12 signs. And we'll start with Aries. And like I said, I'll go back and put the chapters in probably once I wake up in the morning. So, all right, y'all. I'm going to share the screen with you and we'll do this thing. If it's going to let me share this. There, did that work? Too much stuff on the screen. Okay, yeah. So Aries, hold on. All right. All right, so Aries, this new moon for you being Capricorn, of course, is in your 10th house of your entrepreneurship, your soulpreneurship, but it's in the house of taking up space in this world. So for you, It's how are you taking up space in this world confidently in your business, in your legacy, and what you're leaving behind, and how you're seen in the world, what you're doing, like what your image is. And is that run from a place that's not from the wounded ego or just the personality alone, but is that coming from a place of your soul and higher self, that you're taking up space in the world from your soul and higher self, from that perspective, not from wanting the approval of someone else, from wanting to be in a hierarchy system and wanting somebody else to like you, approve of you, or to think you're great, not from wanting to be loved or to feel special. You must deal, Aries, with that desire to feel special, because when you heal that, you will be coming from truly from your heart and soul, and not from this wounded place that is causing something that's false. It's not authentic. It's not stepping into your greatness at the highest levels and the highest. And Capricorn's about mastery. So it's like, are you mastering life on earth? This whole plane here thing is not about the programs and the matrix and the cars and the money and the family and the picket fence and all that shit. And it's okay to want those things also, while realizing that's not what it actually is here that we're doing here. We're mastering life, which is mastering all 12 signs, all of life, all the zodiac, right? So this new moon for you is massively about your business, about how you take up space in the world, and your branding, your business, your work that you're doing in the world. So this is setting a new intention into the world of light. This is a fertile, fallow field of like, I'm going to set forward in my business and my branding with confidence, valuing myself, that Taurus North Node, standing in the value of who I am and bringing this value to the world, to the people that can receive that value, and the symbiosis of all of that, and standing in greater confidence than you ever have in your business, in your entrepreneurship. With Jupiter forward and Aries in your first house of your identity, your ego, your personality, you're starting this whole new cycle. Jupiter is starting a new cycle as you're starting a new cycle in the first house of the zodiac, and your identity, personality, and your ego. So this is massively a chance, an opportunity for you to decide who and what and how you want to be, what it's coming from. We all went through this Pisces, this big Pisces period this year that should have helped you review the deep emotional seascapes of yourself and your soul, and really understanding your intuition and your gifts and your power as a woman. Are you standing up as a woman in your roots and your foundation? Because Lilith is in your fourth house, talking about your roots. You can't fly, Capricorn, doing the business and the branding and taking up space in this world unless you have a powerful foundation, a solid foundation. And Lilith there is saying, girl, you have some rage to clean up. You have some anger in there. You have stuff to heal. That is the only way that you're going to have a solid foundation and roots to fly in your business and your branding, and to really be the authentic version of you stepping into the highest levels of greatness. Capricorn is greatness. So Lilith is asking you to integrate all of the power you retrieve by going through any anger of having been suppressed as a woman, tricked as a woman, abused as a woman, any past life trauma issues, what have you. And it's not a one-off, right? It's a journey, but you're being asked to integrate it with Venus Capricorn stuff, with like standing in your divine feminine of holding space in this world, rather than holding space in a masculine energy or holding space in a hierarchical, distorted Saturn energy, but rather holding space in the beauty of the soft, gentle feminine and the fierce, light-filled, intuitive, no nonsense, knows her no and yes, doesn't take no shit, feminine, standing in her power and being her beautiful, amazing self, shining light. Saris in your seventh house of relationships is asking you to look at your partnerships. There's squares there. There's decisions to be made. And if you don't make different decisions, the same things are going to be taking place in this new moon. It's not going to be a new moon for you. So it's like you're being asked to make new decisions on relationships. Are these relationships serious? Is it fertility? Are they fecund? Are they blossoming you, blooming you? Do you have greater self-worth from being in these relationships and these partnerships? That's the question. If you do not, you understand what decision you need to make to really have this new moon bloom for you. You have limitations inspire innovations. You got this card. It's in a self-care message saying that you've had limitations, but you're not understanding that they create you to know the resourcefulness of who you are. Because when you're limited up to a point, when you're limited, then you can start to go MacGyver stuff. You can start to go in and be like, how am I resourceful? Where's my bubble gum? Where's my paperclip? Where's like, the fuse? Like, how do I make shit from nothing, turn lemons into lemonade, really put something together? How do I deal with it when I don't have all the gadgets and all the amazing stuff and all the money and all, like, how do I deal with it when I don't have money? How do I step into the next level of my business without money? I can still do it because of the way technology is today, but how do I do it? And so then you have to realize the resourcefulness of who you are and to deal with ego issues, right? The ego's got to like get some humility and face it and deal with it. And you have to realize, be that inventiveness, be that inspiration. So because it's in a self-care message, it's saying like, are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of yourself when you're feeling like you're limited and restricted, and allowing the sorrow and the sadness of it, dealing with that so that you can be inventive and you can realize the resourcefulness of who you are? That card flew out. It's really important for you. You got move beyond intention to belief. So this card is upright and it's so bright red. And it's like a really pretty cherry red, like the pretty red. I don't know. There's reds that are just alarming and dastardly and ugly, and that are really like denoting evil. If you can see colors in the astral plane, but move beyond intention to belief, meaning that you have your intention. This is what I intend to do, which here's the thing. If you set it and it will unfold into your reality. But the belief part, it's saying, do you have the belief part? Do you have beliefs that counter your intuitions and saying that you're not valuable, you're not good enough, you can't do it, that are limiting you, right? Realize that the limits are what allow you to even know what you're capable of or what's possible. Let's just say if you have all the money in the world, then you never have to be inventive. Like, you just buy a new broom. You don't ever realize that you can take a hat, an old like winter hat, cut the top of it, put it over the broom, and all the bristles don't stick up anymore. And now you can still use the old broom. I'm not saying you want to use the old broom forever, but I'm just saying, as a weird example from my grandma, like, that's what they would do to keep, so that the broom still worked, because they couldn't just go buy a new broom all the time. So they would make sure they put something over the broom so all of the bristles didn't fly out and stick out everywhere, and the broom functioned. Like, they realized the inventiveness of themselves. Here's the thing. We don't have to apply inventiveness to poverty, to scarcity, to lack, to shortage. That's all a spell and a program in the culture. We can apply inventiveness to the amazing things that we're creating, with new technologies of healing coming out, with new gifts coming online. People are realizing how amazing we're helping each other heal past lives, heal old traumas, step into our power, be confident, be happy, be engaged. All of humanity rising on the map of consciousness and the levels of consciousness, so that we're radiating light. Humanity's evolving. So it's saying that, like, do you have beliefs that counter the intentions you have? It's something to look at. All right, pull you one more card, Aries. Overthinking can spoil the magic. It's in a self-care message, meaning that if you don't just allow it to unfold, if you're trying to plan it all and think it all out, that's distorted Capricorn. Capricorn is a yin sign. It's coming from intuition, very internal, the fertile void. It's all, step by step, the intuition says what to do next. Strategy is, it's helpful to a degree, allowing your intuition to run the show. All right, Aries, I hope that helps you. I'm sending you lots of love. Taurus. All right, Taurus, this is in your 9th house. This is the house of the vision quest. Being a Capricorn moon, it's about building your vision. It's also about your expertise as a leader. Like, are you standing in your expertise as a leader? And this is about, 1 degree, a new moon, 1 degree new moon, about a new beginning in your confidence and taking up space, Capricorn, in your leadership and in your expertise in the world, inside of your vision already. So this new moon is inside of the vision you've already created, the architecture. So the architect designs the plans, but Capricorn actually builds the building. So you have done the vision quest, you've done the dream quest, you know the vision, you know your dream, and you have touched space, touched into yourself, having expertise and gifts and what the magic is that you bring to the world, that you help heal, teach, mentor, guide, coach, whatever it is that you do, the spiritual technologies you bring, whatever music you create, frequencies you do, whatever it is, the magic of you and what you do in this world. So now it's time to, Capricorn, take up space in that expertise, own it, claim it, be it. Leadership is claimed. Joy is claimed. So what does that mean? It means that no one gives it to you. You have to come from someplace within you that says, this is mine. This is my space. I'm here. Know it, see it, deal with it. And it's a fierceness, but it's a fierceness that comes from feminine intuition, trust, safety within yourself. Capricorn is confident. Capricorn is focused. It's very focused. It's very concentrated. Capricorn is committed and concentrated. And it's devoted. A devotion is of love. It's of heart. So this is so insanely powerful for you, Taurus, what this is saying for you, with that opposition to Lilith in your 3rd house of the mindset. So your perspective on life and intellectual property that you're creating. So what needs to be healed in your intellectual property itself? What went wrong? What projects failed? What projects didn't go the way you wanted? What tangles are within your projects that need to be pulled apart and made pure again? Or where in your mindset are you not coming from intuition and you're in too much of a mind mentalization, distorted, toxic Mars masculine place? Where in your perspective are you not coming from intuition? Is your intuition driving the bus of your mind? Your mind is supposed to be the microphone for your intuition. It's only supposed to speak your intuition. It's only supposed to be a servant to your intuition, to your heart. The mind can't create anything new. It only knows chewed gum. It only knows what has been. It doesn't create new. That's the channeling in. The mind is the receiving tower of channeling in, but it can receive viral thoughts. It can receive all that illusion, that programming, that matrix. So it's like, what is the mind running? Is it running that disillusionment, all those programs, who and what you should be, the objectification of women, all of this bullshit, all of your shadow, all of your wounds? Or is it running the program of your intuition and your higher self and soul? And with it being Lilith in Cancer, it's talking about your foundations and roots. So there's something here that there may be sacred rage practice to do, ritual. You may need to go through a rage ritual to heal any issues or suppressions or abuses or trespasses of soul that you've incurred related to your perspective of life, that is foundational to have a meaning, to have a foundation, which is Capricorn. Capricorn can't build anything if it doesn't care about it enough, a meaning to life, to do it. So there's an integration here of having a perspective on life that's meaningful enough that you do the Capricorn work of building and being committed and devoted to something from heart, which means that Lilith is saying there's some power to retrieve somewhere here. And that needs to be integrated. That's really so important that I'm not going to go into something deeper in this for you, because it's really deep right there. Saturn is in your 10th house of your soulpreneurship, of your entrepreneurship, of your business. Based on vibe, not based on trying to convince people, sell people old paradigms. Let people be attracted to your light and your vibe. Radiate your light, Taurus. And that quintile, there's help. There's so much creative help and flow. Stop pushing. And partnerships, there's decisions to be made on partnerships when it comes to your lifestyle. Are you in partnerships with people where you don't feel better? If you feel worse when you're with these partners, people, in these spaces, you know what decision to make. I'll pull a card for you, Taurus. Overrate your intuition. So I was just, going in really, really deep to that. So the cards are just backing up the astrology and backing up everything that just channeled through for you, Taurus. Overrate your intuition is saying turn the volume up on your intuition and the volume down on your mind. Pull another card. This one came out for you, Taurus. You are epic. It's all this yellow. Yellow is the solar plexus. It's personal power. It was in the self-care message. So there's an issue with solar plexus, personal power. Maybe get some Reiki on your solar plexus. Maybe really tap into what is holding you back from personal power at this moment. What's in the way of that? Is it the rage that needs to be released? Anger that needs to be released? Often hurt is underneath that. We do that deep work in Alchemical Goddess, my coaching program. If you want to transform your world and be in a completely different place in 6 months and begin that journey now and start having breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, you can book a complimentary goddess call for my coaching program to apply to be in it. I only hold very limited spots. And so you can do that at thegoddessastrologer.com. But do that deep work, whether it's with me or on your own or with someone else. Do that deep work. Why don't you think you're epic? What are the reasons? What are the things that are standing in the way? What are the things inside that are preventing you from really acknowledging the greatness? That's the truth of you. Pull another card for you, Taurus. So accept and receive in a self-care message saying that, are you accepting and receiving, which is meaning that you have to accept and receive the intuition downloading through you, the channeling coming through, messages from your guides, the gifts of Taurus type themes, nature, plants, beauty, flowers. Are you accepting and receiving? Are you listening when your body says, I need to go get flowers from the store right now? I don't care what the fuck's on my schedule. I don't care about this person. I don't care about the kid needs this or this needs this. I need flowers in the house to feel better right now. Don't overlook that stuff. Don't overlook your body saying, I need to go take a shower right now. And your mind saying it's the middle of the day. That shower might get all of the excess yucky energy out and allow you to have the clarity, because when we're doing the shower or we're doing the dishes or we're doing things download and our mind shifts and emotions shift and clarity comes in and we understand what's going on and we start channeling work and projects and just so much beauty comes through. Accept and receive. Are you accepting and receiving help from others? Or are you making it mean something bad about you that you're not good enough if you need help? Every human needs help. You cannot function without it. Anybody that says that they got there on their own is lying. Nobody gets there on their own. I promise you, nobody gets there on their own. Everybody has help. People love to be like, I did this all on my own. I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. There's, yes, the internal work we must go through, even with a guide, we must go through on our own, which is Taurus type themes, like understanding that when you go through it on your own and you realize how powerful you are and you realize the resourcefulness you have within you. All right, Taurus, I hope that helps you. Gemini. Magical Gemini with Mars there. 7 months. You're getting there, Gemini, getting there. All right. So this new moon for you is all about procreation, creation, and being the magician. Being the magician is about magic, creation, procreation. It's that procreative energy, which comes from joy and happiness and the sacred devotion of life. Capricorn being that devotion. Are you taking up space in your magic and your gifts and your psychic abilities and your intuitive abilities and your power without trying to dominate and control? Because Capricorn and Scorpio can try to dominate and control. And with this being in your 8th house, all about control, like is your ego trying to control everything and offended and defended about everything, pushing people away, stomping off, instead of actually taking control through devotion and through taking up fierce space and claiming and owning your space without dominating. Can you claim your space without it being a domination or an authoritarian or through manipulation? Is that ego healthy? And with Jupiter being in a 0 degrees ego, Aries, in the 11th house, this has to do with your relationships and other people. This has to do with your audience. Are you feeling hurt by the growth of your audience, the response of your audience? How is social media going? How is that? Are you putting social media in the proper place in your business? Years ago, social media filtered people into your products and services. That is not the way it is now. Very few people can just start a social media account and then automatically sell off of it. To build a social media account so that one day you may have inbound traffic from it, but it's mainly just to build at first in a business these days. There's different steps in between. So are you like understanding the symbiosis with your identity and who you are, and you basing your identity off how other people respond to you, how groups and affiliations and collaborations are approving of you or not approving of you, or liking you or not liking you? Or is that coming from within, from a healthy ego that you're building through humility and letting the ego deaths come, letting the ego fall apart and be embarrassed and go through those issues? Because that's how the ego builds humility and compassion, and it becomes the loving, healthy ego. This 8th house, it's with Lilith here in your 2nd house, it's self-worth. It's prosperity consciousness. It's understanding the value of yourself. So there's Lilith issues, your power with valuing yourself, so you can be fighting for your value for other people to see your value. Are you just standing in your value and then creating things, Capricorn, building it, being the magician, 8th house, from your intuition, 8th house, from the metaphysical, from the intangible, from this inner power, the sacral chakra, this sexual primordial energy and power of creation, belief, magic, knowing, this fierce feminine inner knowing and genius. There's something to heal here. There's some power to retrieve in your self-worth and and understanding the resourcefulness of yourself, like that you are your resource in this world, that it's not that by you making a relationship with somebody else, you created that resource of whatever skills and talents they bring to your business. Maybe they're good at marketing and you bring them in, but you creating that relationship, it's who you are that created the relationship. That's the resourcefulness of yourself that was able to do that. And the resourcefulness of you of seeing where you needed to delegate out in your business, to not do it all yourself, so you have more time for other areas. I mean, these are just examples, but it's like understanding Taurus stuff it's really deep. People say Scorpio is a difficult sign to understand, or other signs, but they all have a depth and dimension that most of us, fail to grasp. The Taurus issues are about, how do you value yourself in ways that you are aware of? And then how are you seeking to be valued by external sources? That's where you go in to retrieve your power with Black Moon Lilith types of themes of dealing with the anger and the rage of whatever the issues and the sorrow and the hurts are there, of either people putting you down or people not seeing your value because you somehow couldn't stand in the truth of it. Maybe you couldn't do anything different. Maybe you're trapped. Maybe you didn't have the skills. Maybe you didn't know. And this 8th house is a magician. You can dream it into being with your mind. You can send love to it and send power and dream it how you want it to be and change it. This is Capricorn building. This is a new moon here. This is 8th house themes of like standing in the confidence of your gifts, your intuition, your psychic abilities, your knowing, your feminine genius. This is taking up space and having confidence in this area of life. And this is a new beginning. It's a new beginning tenfold. That is Capricorn themes. That is about business, your legacy, what you're doing in this world. All right, Gemini, I'm going to pull you a card. I hope that helps you. You do have decisions to make when it comes to children, when it comes to your creative projects and how you express yourself in this world from an authentic place or from superiority, from the inferiority complexes. Balance. You got the card balance upright, Gemini, which is about where do you feel solid and where do you feel not solid. If you think about a handstand, balance, you're always correcting constantly. You have a brake and a gas pedal, and you're always correcting constantly. When I do handstands and I balance, there's always micro movements that people don't see. And so balance is never equality, and it's never static. It's never static and not moving. It's fluidity and a constant conversation, whether it's at big levels or micro nuanced levels. It's where it's, you know, when you feel solid and you know when you don't. Balance is when you fucking feel solid, when you've had enough sleep, you've had, you know, the right foods that make you feel good, when you've had some play and you've had some conversation, especially as a Gemini, you've had enough connection and conversation and talking about ideas and being stimulated and running around. But Gemini, understand that right now you need stillness. You need to find stillness somehow. Otherwise, you're not going to hear your intuition. And this 8th house is going to fly by and you just miss this opportunity. There is stillness that is required here. And so for balance, because that Gemini is so overloaded by Mars there for 7 months, even if Mars is retrograde and internal, there's this internal stimulation. There's this activation of you, your sun, your purpose of who you are, or if your rising of your personality and your ego. There's just this giant activation, the stimulation of wanting to just flit around and go do activities and just be so like so distracted and bouncing from thing to thing to thing. If you don't have the balance of stillness, you won't have coherence, which means nothing will be created. Feed your artist in this amazing purpley color. So gorge, feed your artist in the self-care message. So this is really powerful, Gemini, because it's just saying right here that the artistry, feeding your inner artist. And I'm going to just keep using the inner artist instead of like feeding your joy, feeding your, you know, the artist. Like, who is the artist inside you and what does she need? Do you need to write, draw, paint, dance, sing, chant, drum, make things, build things? Like, I like building things, like wood things, construction and stuff. Like, I like building things. It's like super fun. I used to build one of my parents as a kid had like every tool you can think of and all kinds of wood and whatever. I just used to build shit all the time and saw stuff and sand stuff and just, I don't know, there's something, I'm a Taurus, so it's like makes a lot of sense, you know, just to like do something manual with my hands and to see this final, you know, this final product of it. What is it for you? I gave you a lot of ideas. That's going to help bring that stillness and that balance, that calm, like feeding your artist. So it might be actually like what we think of with art typically is like painting or drawing or doing art type typical things. You know, you can take a pottery class, a painting class, a dancing class, There's those places where, you know, you can go have a drink and do a painting. There's just so many amazing freaking things out there today now, that you can find. But, you know, sit at the sunset and paint. I just keep seeing sunsets. Like there's something about, you know, really watching the horizon line with the solstice and seeing the sunrise and the sunset and the starry sky and the ocean. I'm just like seeing so much ocean and so much sunrises and sunsets like right now for you, Gemini. It's like there's something really important about being connected to nature, being connected to all of life, and being connected to the sun right now and the artist. And you got collaboration of souls and a self-care message. So it's saying it's really important for you, Gemini, to have that connection, but like where it's a soul connection and it's not just flighty and flitty and stimulating. You need it to be a stimulation of soul, that it's, you know, not stimulating your personality, but stimulating your heart and your deep soul self. So it's so important, Gemini. Sending you lots of love. I don't know if I think when I move this, it doesn't work. I don't know why that is, but I'm gonna try to move it, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't work and it doesn't actually move. So I'm just gonna reduce it for now and see if that works. Who knows? Cancer. All right, Cancer. This new moon is all about relationships and partnerships and changes in that direction. And so this is the Capricorn building, taking up space in your relationships, having confidence in your relationships, standing in your power of being, claiming your space, being bolder, being confident, being certain, sure-footed, which means that, you know, Lilith says in your first house that, like, do you know who you are? What needs to heal and be released? Like, where have you lost power in your own who you are-ness and your own identity and your own personality, your own ego? Like, is the healthy ego, is the ego like shrunken down and hiding and afraid and scared? Do people respond to you poorly? And these are deep questions to ask. There might be sacred rage practice to stand in the authentic expression of your personality and yourself, and there might be experimentation to do, but this is what's really needed to build a solid foundation so that you can go into this building of this relationship to all of life, relationship to yourself, relationship to other people, relationship to your business, to money. In this 7th house of Capricorn being here, taking up space in the world in partnership, the interconnectedness with life. Are you taking up space and doing your part of it? If we're all interconnected and you're not taking up space, then, you know, like say we're all trying to, and I can, like, I have pictures in my mind, but I can't seem to voice what it is, but like, you know, those giant circular blankets when everybody's holding a part of it, and like you move them up and down and they're rainbow colored or whatever. You can imagine that, right? And if somebody isn't doing their part, then you have one side of it just flapping in the wind and it doesn't work. It doesn't function. If there's everybody on a sailboat trying to sail a boat, then you need everybody at their station. If one person is shrunken down and is not confidently holding space at their part and raising that sail, then none of it works. Where are you holding space in this world and not holding space in this world for who you are, realizing that you matter and taking up space in this world? And Saturn is saying that it has a lot to do with really living your gifts and claiming ownership of your gifts, of staking of like a devotion to your intuition, your gifts, your psychic abilities, your communication with your guides and the galactic energies. And there's a lot of support here from Mars in your 12th that may not seem obvious. Your mind is not really going to help you. Let things unfold from your intuition. There's decisions to be made around family and if something's not supporting you, if you don't feel better from having been around it, that gives you a lot of important information, Cancer. This new moon is about setting this new implementation of coming from intuition and light and how you take up space in the world in relationship. I hope that helps, Cancer. I'm going to pull you some cards. So let's go into this. I think I figured out how to take a break and not screw up my video because I don't want to edit. Pause. Okay, I'm gonna take a break. I'll be right back, y'all, but you won't notice. All right, Cancer, so I'm gonna pull you some cards. This card came out for you, gratitude again. So how is it with gratitude at the moment for you? Gratitude's tricky because a lot of times we can have gratitude from lack. I'm grateful I have an arm, because you don't want to not have an arm. So a lot of times there's lack in gratitude. I like appreciation. It's kind of a go around. To use appreciation instead. Literally changing the language can literally change our relationship to it and help us to have appreciation or love, like kind of listing all the things you love. The point with it is, though, is really activating it within your body. If you don't actually feel it, there's just times when I just can't feel gratitude or gratefulness or appreciation or love. And it's like, okay, well then how can I go into a place to put myself in that state, be with animals, be with nature, be with trees and lakes and beauty. How can you maybe get yourself touched, a massage, get to release things in your body, get Reiki, energy medicine, do something special just for yourself, to read things that really uplift you and inspire you, or to do things that inspire you. Sometimes just going to a movie can be a nice reset. So it's like gratitude again, it's saying the again part, and it's upright of like tapping into that, because that puts us in a higher vibration. Even in my darkest moments, and with this last like week and a half, it's really been weird, but there's been like, I don't know, anyways, there's been some like deep moments of like void or something for me personally. And it was like, I wanted to go to gratitude, and I was like, okay. And then I could find those places, I could find these different things throughout my life where it's just like, there's just no way to deny how amazing that was. And however you can try to make inroads. So I say all of that. Maybe it's easy for you. Maybe you just need the reminder. Maybe it's not been easy for you, and you need some help with like, how do I get there? All right, what else wants to come for you, Cancer? The now moment. So it definitely in the mind too much. Being in the now means get into your breath, get into your heart, and get into the present moment, into this coherence of what's right now in front of you, what's important right now. Get out of the schedules, the planning, the figuring. This can be a time of year where people are really like, oh my God, all these things. You being a Cancer, I could imagine you maybe trying to do everything for everyone and do this giant meal and make everything amazing for everyone, and everyone feel nourished and helpful. And it's like, that's not all your job to do. Make other people do their part, pick up the slack, get your needs met, ask people for help, realize the symbiosis of asking for help and how important that is. It's really important. Being in the now moment, there's like a clock on here. It's like a sacred geometry clock. Like this is really saying gratitude, now moment. Like there's too much out of your body, not being embodied in your Cancer. Cancer is the body, but Cancer can be the past too. So get out of the past. Where are you in sadness and forlorn about the past, and reviewing all of the hurts? Release it so that you can move through it. It says follow through, and it has like this circular cycle that the circular path, the circular flow, the interconnectedness with all of life. We go through the dark and the light and the shadow and the healing. And so it's in a self-care message where it's like, follow through. Are you following through on taking care of yourself, on having gratitude and high frequency, like moving your frequency up? Are you following through on living that way, living an intuitive way of life? With, you know, this Capricorn new moon being in your 7th house of relationships, are you living your relationships from your intuition and listening to that inner voice instead of listening to outside voice of what you should supposedly be doing or how you should be running your life or relationships or be in a relationship? Are you listening to what you say on the inside? Are you tapping into what you're grateful for, being in the present moment so you can really listen to your inner feminine knowing and then following through on that inner intuition? Or are you dismissing what you're hearing inside to do, that you need rest, or that you shouldn't spend time with this person? It might not be forever, it might just be today, or that you really need to go do this other self-care message. So there's a lot here, Cancer. Hope this helps you. Sending you love. All right, Leo. Leo, this new moon is in your house of lifestyle and of your life force energy. It's about self-mastery. So this Capricorn new moon about, and the stellium in Capricorn, you know, our mind, our perspective, our deep, you know, the way we are in relationships, and then our deep feminine energies. Like, are you standing up and holding space and holding confidence in the lifestyle that you really want in this world, that you really want to live it right now, and holding confidence in that lifestyle, holding confidence in your life force energy, meaning that you have to hold space for sleep and rest and getting enough nutrients and doing all the things you need to do, taking time off, taking time for pleasure, taking time to build and work and be in your business and be deeply steeped in that, having this devotion and this commitment to which 6th house stuff, which is work and the day-to-day work of it all. But like, can you come from a new place, a new moon at 1 degree, a new Capricorn? Can you come from building your day-to-day work and habits and routines and schedules on the lifestyle that you really desire, on commitment, devotion from the heart, from intuition, listening to that? Lilith in opposition in the 12th house is saying, like, are you coming from spirit or soul? Or are you coming from the wounds and the karma and the past life issues and travails and traumas that haven't been dealt with yet? Are you standing in your power? With Lilith in the 12th house, it's saying your power might be hidden from you right now. Maybe you're not realizing, you know, the potency that you have. You know, Lilith can be kind of impotent there. You know, your feminine knowing, your feminine genius, standing up into that to create the schedule that you want for yourself, taking several days off a week, delegating out. Maybe you don't like doing these things in your business. Do the things you want to do in your business. Do the business the way you say to do it. Stop listening to the business sphere and all these people that say supposedly they know what success is, how to get it, and what it looks like. You know what it is, how to get it, and what it looks like. Only you, because if you try to do it the way somebody else does it, it will not work. I promise you. That's just that's New Earth. That's the way it's going. Like, you have to do it for your feminine genius and what it says to do and how it says to do things. And Saturn being here in your 7th house, it's really about being on vibe with people in your life. If it's not on vibe, then it is going to make your work life, who you delegate out to, and your business and your plans, your projects not function well. And you're going to be misinterpreting your power, or where to stand into your power, where to speak up, where to not speak up, your fierceness, or where to just be in calm presence. You're going to misinterpret all of that because you want to be on vibe match. So is it coming from vibe, or is it coming from the wounded ego, approve of me, love of me, think I'm special? Or are you coming from a place of like knowing your value and understanding that, and like, I vibe with this person, this feels good, I feel more self-worth after I've been with this person. And then that's going to be helping you. There's this deep help from collaborations, social media, all of that, interpreting it correctly. Don't let it make you feel good and special and on point. Allow it to serve you and help you and be the uplifter. Oh man. All right, Leo. Celebrate your wins, but it is in a it's in a self-care message. So celebrate your wins and self-care. Are you acknowledging your successes? Are you acknowledging what you do really well? Are you acknowledging everything that you've accomplished, acknowledging your greatness? Or are you wanting other people to do that? You have to value yourself. You have to acknowledge yourself. It has to come from the inside out, because the outside, it'll never be enough. It's just like a bottomless well. With it being in a self-care message too, it's like saying, like, is there ritual? Is there sacred ceremony? Do you have a way where you actually receive the understanding of how you've accomplished something and done something really well? It could be the simplest thing in your business, like creating, something simple on email or what have you, but it was a big deal and you did that. Like, do you acknowledge that and claim that for yourself? The spark of creation in a protection message. So the spark of creation, like the excitement and the doing all these different pieces of the projects and writing everything down and visioning and getting all excited about it, like the spark and creative energy that comes from all that. But it's in a protection message saying that, like, are you resourced fully? Are you running around in a way that's really not grounding it into life, into Capricorn reality? And it's all up in your head and it's all up and out of the body. Are you in your body with it? There, prosperity sisters are happiness and joy. I mean, that's what Leo is, right? It's the joy and the happiness and the childlike, like, energy and enthusiasm and passion. And it's just such a, like, a determined, focused passion and enthusiasm. And so this is another, like, self-care message. So there's something here about, like, about grounding it down into the Capricorn reality, Capricorn new moon being in your 6th house of reality and day-to-day schedules and works and routines. There's, like, something here about, like, acknowledging how great you are and the great things you do and what you accomplish, and when you have the wins and have figured things out, and, like, really reveling in that joy and letting the joy and the passion and that focus ground down into your body, into the present moment, into this now, and taking that forward into your schedules and your day-to-day life, and running, your lifestyle from that joy and that passion that's, like, in this present moment, acknowledging what you do amazing. So I hope that helps you, Leo. This is definitely this, creation of the vision in living the lifestyle day to day in your day-to-day life. All right, we'll move to Virgo whenever this works. There we go. Virgo, this new moon is about your leadership. It may be about children and romance and passion. It's about bringing your gifts to the world, like contributing. It's about the ways in which you matter, like that your work matters, that what you're bringing to the world matters. It's about being on stage and being a leader and creatively expressing your magic, your genius, who you are. This is the new building of that part of yourself, of your gifts coming through, of your leadership standing with enthusiasm and passion and fire, with that energy and that light coming through and shining. And Lilith is in your 11th house, saying that, like, where do you need to retrieve your powers? From other people, from humanity, from society, from groups, to Where did you bring your gifts to the people and it wasn't received or seen or acknowledged? And is there rage, is there anger to heal from that? Is there sacred practice to do? Like, how do you integrate standing in your power in groups with other people, you know, in your audience, in your social media building, and integrate that into your understanding of of building this reality, building this the work that you're doing. The Saturn is in your sixth house of day-to-day work. So it's like, is it all a vibe match? Is it based on old world paradigms of control and domination, or is it based on the new world paradigms of feeling, intuition, heart, soul? Is it based on where you vibe, where you feel good, and where you don't feel good? And is feeling good based on your soul, or is it based on your ego? And that wounded ego means that you need to take your power back from where you maybe gave it away to other people. This Mars is helping you in your business sphere, but is like a deep rewiring internally of your masculine energies, how you use them. Like, instead of pushing, like, are you receiving and getting that intuition and then allowing it to come through to create, and allowing it, the unfolding, the magic. There's a lot here about allowing for there to be more peace and less control when it comes to being like sharing your expertise. Like, instead of trying to control the other people, see you, understand you, approve of you, and like hear your expertise, instead of just being your expertise, like believe it, valuing it yourself, which radiates that light and then magnetizes it. You don't have to convince, control. So Virgo, pull you some cards. You have this new cycle starting when it comes to your 8th house of your like primordial creation energies, your gifts, your intuition. And so there's this new cycle starting of integrating that into your identity of who you are. Soul on fire, but it's in a protection message. It's in a self-care message. So it's like, you can't really be that soul on fire unless you're fully resourced as a woman. So where are you lacking the passion and enthusiasm? Where is there not the joy right now, and why? Like, really look at that joylessness and see, are you pushing too hard, trying to get too much done? You have like too many shoulds on yourself and expecting too much. And this Capricorn New Moon is in your 5th house. So it's about building from passion, enthusiasm, and joy. So it's the empire that you build, Capricorn, the commitment, the devotion to your work in the world, radiating your light, healing, whatever it is that you bring and do, but from joy and love and intuition and peace and that enthusiasm, that passion that radiates light and that you share with the world. Change maker, make waves. So you are this change maker in the world, and making waves means bucking the status quo, meaning that it provokes people, provokes triggers, provokes people to be offended, provokes things happening, issues, and what have you. And it's in a protection message. So it's like, are you shrinking from other people being triggered or upset or having issues and not wanting to deal with them having the emotions and everything they're having? It's like, let them be where they're at. That's not your responsibility to do with, but don't shrink because people might be offended, stomp off, be upset, and have things come up for them. We need this to all happen in humanity. We're all helping each other, even when it doesn't seem like it's going that well. All right, integrate your knowing with the fox, the feminine fox. So it's like, integrate your knowing, meaning that you have this knowing, don't let it just be spinning up in your mind. Use it in your life. Use it to act upon it. Put it into your world, use it in your life, build your business upon it, live these values in your day-to-day world, live your truth, live this knowledge and knowing. All right, Virgo, I hope that helps. I am like needing excess chocolate today. It's just the way it be. With vanilla. Vanilla actually releases serotonin in the brain. All right, Virgo. Libra. So Libra, yo, fourth house. Girl. So Capricorn, building, taking up space. This new going towards the light, but also this fertile fallow time of potentiality, building up energy inside of you in your fourth house of your ground, your roots, the foundation of everything. And then Capricorn is foundation. So you have this, all this potentiality and kinetic energy starting to build up power. Capricorn starting to build up steam and momentum and energy in your fourth house of roots, groundedness, foundation, so that there can be this launching. So this new moon for you is more of a seed underneath the earth that is in that amazing dark womb of the fertile, moist, black earth. And so there must be this Lilith energy of looking at where you don't feel powerful in your business or as a leader, or don't feel powerful at taking up space in this world. Where do you shrink from taking up space, or afraid of taking up space, or afraid of being confident? And looking at that and seeing what you need to heal and go through, where you need to retrieve your power through typical Lilith types of things, which might be rage, anger, hurt, being demonized, being like fear of being demonized, fear with you being a Libra. You might have fear of what people think, and fear of conflict. Your version of conflict is not the other 11 signs version of conflict. You have to realize, as a Libra, you might think any sort of non-agreement is conflict, and because of that, then avoid anything where you're standing in your power and standing in your truth, because somebody else might not like it. And it's really letting go of anything that other people think. We all need to have this diversity. Saturn is in your fifth house of leadership, enthusiasm, passion, joy, heart, vulnerability. And so, children and romance. So with Saturn being in your house of children and romance, is it a vibe match? You and your kids might vibe one day and not the next, letting it all be okay. Like letting it be on vibe, how you lead, coming from your enthusiastic and passionate place within yourself, where that's going to really help you to have the seed of foundation happening right now. So this Capricorn new moon for you is a seed in the fertile soil. I'm gonna pull some cards for you, Libra. And then there's work to do when it comes to standing in your confidence and taking up space in the world, like in your business as a leader. That kind of stuff's up for you. So I hope that helps you understand what's going on for you with this new moon. You have choose who you are becoming in a self-care message. So choose who you are becoming. It's really on point with your astrology here. It's like this new moon is this fertile seed planted in the soil with all this potential kinetic energy, building up momentum and energetic potentiality, but it's building the foundation of your business and your life right now. And since Capricorn is business, Capricorn is, the commitment, the devotion, like your purpose, your mission, what you're doing, like that's that seed, right? So it's like choose who you're becoming, but it's in a self-care message saying that like there's go inward, listen to the intuition that Libra can be thinking and weighing out and in the air a lot and up in the sky and just so much thinking. Not that it's wrong, but is it, are you listening inward? Communication is a two-way street. Are you listening? Are you hearing your intuition? Are you asking your own feminine genius to give you those messages? Really important. How can you really do this the good kind? So it's like the kind of people, right? It's like the good kind of like understanding the power of good in the world, understanding the power of your own compassion, that Libran compassion, understanding. I don't know what the hell is this card about, actually. I'm not really getting any downloads. I wonder what the creator of this card says. I guess like what comes up for me is like not overlooking the power of the good. But let's see what the creator of this deck says. Sweet spirit, why are you working so hard? Really, what do you hope to gain in your current situation? Money, security, notoriety, love, acceptance, worthiness, growth. What are you working to find alongside whatever word your subconscious mind served up for you? Add these two words, goodness and kindness. Allow these good old-fashioned vibrations to cut through the fog of your worries and let them lead you as you do the work. So yeah, I mean, that's what I was feeling, is like not overlooking the power of good. Here's an example of just, just hearing somebody and having compassion for someone. Somebody may have never been loved in their life and never have had that, and you being able to hold that space for them, even if it's 2 minutes, you don't underestimate how important and powerful that is. And that may stop them from rippling out some more negativity in the world. That stops like a bigger cycle of negativity and yet a bigger cycle. Like we dismiss compassion and how amazing, how deep and profound it is and what good it does. So don't discount your seemingly small acts of goodness and kindness and love. Welcome the divine masculine. So divine masculine energy, which is, if we think about Saturn and Capricorn, the masculine of, I love how it looks like there's lights, it's really awesome card. Of, that is that passion, that light, that being lit up, that like steadiness, that like space holding, the protection of love for the incubation of the feminine to create. It's just like the masculine energy. There's so much here. It's really amazing. Like the seed is planted. Choose who you're becoming consciously by going inside and doing the inner work. Don't overlook how the kindness and compassion that you bring, how powerful it actually is, and really put it on the pedestal it deserves to be on. And that divine masculine energy, that it's protection and space holding, and it's that vacuum of love that allows the baby to bloom and to be birthed and to come into the world. So it's the protection of love, it allows for growth. It's really important. All right, Libra. Scorpio, this new moon for you is your 3rd house. So you're doing this Capricorn building and commitment and devotion to a mindset that actually sets you up for this whole new cycle of life. That's about your day-to-day work and routines and how you look at that, and is it coming from someplace meaningful? Do you believe you can live the lifestyle that you want right now, that you can live your dreams now, pull them into the now moment little bit by little bit? How can you pull in one piece? How can you have bridges to your dreams? Maybe it's not the full dream, but you can have this piece that you create and live right now. How do you believe more into it? This 3rd house is all about your beliefs, your perspectives, your communications. Are you hearing from an intuitive place and building and taking up space in the way you see the world and the way you communicate from a place of intuition, inner steadiness, commitment, devotion to something that's higher and from the stars, from the galactic energy, from a place where you understand your roots and your foundation within yourself. That comes from something deep within you that is based upon your feminine knowing and genius and your intuition, and allowing that death and rebirth and that to be renewed as often as it needs to be renewed, and not being scared of the death and rebirth. While Scorpio is the death and rebirth, there's also a deep survival fear Scorpio has. It's such a antithesis, right? That is this dynamic that's going on. And so it's like really allowing for yourself to do the deep work that's stopping you from standing in your expertise, believing in your expertise, like committed to owning your power and taking up space as a woman expert in the world, a woman that has something to say, a woman that's a visionary, a woman that has a vision and is speaking it, and that is dreaming that dream into being in the world and has something to say and values herself and values what she knows and what she has to say in this world, and stands up as an expert, stands up as a leader and a visionary. And so what needs healed there, or rage needs released, or needs dealt with, this is big for you. You know, what vision have you been dreaming into being? And now it's about building it, and it's gonna take this mindset that comes from your knowing and your intuition, your heart, not from the mentalizing, thinking. That is going to run you into the ditch, Scorpio. All right, what cards for you want to come up? So you have light and the unexpected. So they're, the dark and the light are resolving halves of the whole. There's light in unexpected places. Look for the cracks. Look for the jewels, the gems, the resources, the value in the difficulties that you've been through. Look for the wisdom in it. Look for the difficulties. We don't have challenge for no reason. The meaninglessness sometimes can be a hard part of challenge, loss, and pain, and this earthly plane existence, and going through the soul concarnate whole shebang thing, dealio. But look for what is your meaning and your understandings and your gifts from going through those things. Tell me more about this, please, for Scorpio. We're gonna get a card for you, Scorpio. Okay. Your past supports your future. So your past isn't meaningless, what you've been through. So like whatever stories your mind is telling you about the past, this is about building new Capricorn stories about your life in the future. And this is about a devotion to them being positive, coming from a belief in what you can create and what you can build. And from love consciousness, we talked about map consciousness of that 5D of being in this space of this high frequency of having meaning, that what you've been through has meaning. It supports your future because you have wisdom you didn't have. You have soul experience and evolution. Like you can't take the wealth, the cars, the money, the things with you when you bounce out of here. Your soul takes the wealth of the evolution from you learning and growing and going through all that pain, loss, and challenge. And you have to make it meaningful to you. I can't tell you something that is going to give you the meaning that's going to make it all worth it. But there is something in there that's worth it all if you go through that journey. And it takes the journey a lot of times. It takes the crying and the screaming and the imploring to the multiverse, and bliss is worth creating from. So it's like it's worth it to do the transformation that's needed to create from bliss, and not to just push through and think you have to, and come from shoulds and come from have tos and come from like this has got to get done, but come from joy and happiness and bliss and passion and enthusiasm, because that is what is going to be radiating that light, the heart with the light and the radiation and all the colors. And it's so beautiful. It's like we feel that, and we feel when it's dead energy and there's no life in it. We know the difference. So, all right, Scorpio, I hope that helps you. All right, Sag, this new moon, is all about shortage consciousness, prosperity consciousness, understanding your value, being that value, bring that value. Are you bringing it from, from the wound, from the damaged ego and the damaged wound? And this is definitely meaning that Lilith needs to go into the sacral chakra, to primordial, like sexual roots of like your connection to yourself as mattering, and with the invisible, with the soul, higher self part of you. And where have you been suppressed, oppressed, abused, trespasses of soul? Because there's power to retrieve there. And until you retrieve your power from the deep, bewitched places, from the deep invisible places, from where you felt tricked, where you felt manipulated, controlled, abused, possessed, until you retrieve your power from those things, it will be hard to have the abundance that you desire and deserve, and to know your value and to claim it and stand in it as it is a fact, rather than trying to have people to affirm it for you. This new moon is really setting into motion this seed, this kinetic potentiality, the seed of potentiality for taking up space and standing in your confidence of who you are in this world, that you matter, that you're valuable, you bring value, and really upgrading your self-worth to the highest level. It's like totally new cycle for you. And this is going to take passion, enthusiasm, and joy, and understanding what takes those things away. Because whatever takes those things away is going to impede this. You must eliminate those. This is definitely going to take you digging into your mindset and coming from a place that's of higher consciousness in your mindset, and really eliminating the brain noise that is bringing you down. This is really important for you, Sag. It's a big deal. It's a big new moon. You got this card, fill your cup up with sacred giggles. So laughter, and you're Sag, you can do it. Like, if anybody can do it, it's you, right? And the sacred geometry here is the cat of the rising sun. This is a Grateful Dead symbol that they used in their stuff, and it always has a cat on it, and it's a really cool history and background and whatever. But it's just like the rising sun, a cup of sacred giggles. Like, where is their humor that's not based on like distorted bullshit and dark stuff and depravity and hierarchy and stuff like that? Where is there like laughter that comes from the soul, that comes from goofiness and deep soul connection, animals connection to earth's plant medicine? I keep hearing plant medicine. There's something there for you. Shift the way to new potential. This sacred geometry, I mean, this is just man, it's like, I think it starts with an F. Fuck, I can't remember. Anyways, it's BA. So shift the way to new potential. It's in a self-care message. So it's saying that you might be blinded, really have it in your blind spot, that all these new cycles are starting. The old is falling away. Things that arise that seem old, like we just went through the galactic, passed through the galactic center with the sun. Like we've been going through the deep underworld with Venus and all these planets retrograde this way. Like, we've been clearing things out. Things arise to be healed, to be released, to be resolved, not to just make you crazier, make you feel like life's meaningless. Stop, drop, and ground, but also in a self-care message. So it's saying, like, are you deeply resourced? Are you taking a shower? Are you doing the things you need to do? Exercise, running, jogging, being in nature, taking walks, being with other people, laughing, making jokes, being on stage, doing improv, like taking classes, dancing, chanting, singing, doing sound baths. What do you need to do for you? Hot yoga that is going to really fill your reservoir. So it's a lot of important stuff here. That's mainly, this is all about like filling your cup up. Like, what is it that you need? Connection, pleasure, adventure. Maybe you need to go skydiving, parasailing, Try something you never tried before. Go swim with sharks. I mean, just do something really wild. All right, Sag. Capricorn. Of course, being a Capricorn, this is in your first house of identity, personality, ego. So it's really starting a new chapter for you of personality, ego, identity, saying that, like, are you coming from the deep clarity around the value of who you are, believing that you're valuable and knowing that you're valuable, but not from a place of ego and wounded ego or damaged ego, but from a place and understanding of really the light that you bring and that you're valuable just because of who you are and understanding who you are. Like, do you have a connection with who you are? Or are you like really confused about that and don't really know who it is? Do you think it's a collection of thoughts, or do you like, who are you? Are you digging into your chart? We do that deep work in the Goddess Retreat. It starts on January 13th, the official start. You can come join us by clicking the banner at the top of thegoddessastrologer.com if you want to come join us and dig into your personal astrology and chart and get to know yourself at the deepest levels, so you can really realize the amazingness and the greatness of who you are and step into it and realize the challenges were on purpose, because that was what gives you the wealth to build, the evolution of soul. Really important about owning your value from a place of really deep connection, intimacy to yourself, instead of all these rule books and society says, and this is what's supposedly right, or the shoulds or the have tos, got to stop at stop signs. I don't fucking stop at stoplights where there's no cameras and nobody's coming. I don't fucking do that, man. Arbitrary stoplights, no, I'm out. There's something about relationships where have you been subservient? Where have you given over your power because you thought you have to or should, or you thought it was proprietous, it was the right thing to do, it was polite, it was tactful. Like, fuck that, Cap. Like, stand up for a Capricorn that knows how to organize and build and climb the mountain from a place of intuition and meaning. Like, think Martin Luther King Jr., like, think of the greats, like, that's Capricorn energy. But there's distorted Capricorn. It's very much in the culture. So as a Cap, you get this opportunity to heal a lot for humanity by being, building something from the feminine and the intuition. And Capricorn's a feminine sign, it's a yin, deeply internal. Like, there's this fertile seed of potentiality and kinetic energy that is gathering energy right now for you. Like, there's something big brewing and it is gathering energy. And so you're on this kind of like gathering mission of understanding more about who you are at a deep soul level that you've never touched yet before. And this has a lot to do with your roots and your foundation and who you see yourself as, why you see yourself as that. What was that from? Is that through somebody else's eyes, through the eyes of the family, society, the culture? Like, what's from, like, there's decisions to be made about your business and partnerships that lift you up or take you down. There's some deep stuff. You might listen to that again. It's a lot coming up there. Rise. It's in a self-care message. It's asking you to claim your importance, to believe that you matter, to believe in the amazingness of who you are, to stand in your power, to claim leadership. It's not ever given to you. It's not dawned upon you. No one finally says like yes, or enough claps, or enough approvals, or enough aplomb gives you the leadership. You claim it by owning it, being it, and taking up the space. That Capricorn is taking up space. So taking up space in your identity. Experiment, self-modify, try on personas and ideas of yourself. You're not married and wedded to any one thing. Inflow with money. Breathe money in. Believe it. Inflow with money. Let me just read the book on this and see if it gives greater insight, because obviously, inflow with money, yes. What else? Many talented, hardworking dream chasers are postponed from reaching their dreams because of the money stories they tell themselves. Your subconscious beliefs around prosperity and what it means to find success will hinder or help your ability to rake in material abundance. And with Saturn in your second house and this Capricorn new moon in your first house, it's based upon your money stories. So this is saying rise up in your identity and who you are. Are you telling yourself bullshit money stories, and where are your money stories at? You've got to clean that shit up. We do that work in Alchemical Goddess, my coaching program. We do that work on my podcast for free. There's so many episodes on money for free. We do that work in the Facebook group. You can ask my guides a question when I channel, and you can join for free there. We will go into our charts deeply in the Goddess Retreat. You can join us by going to thegoddessastrologer.com. There's so many ways to get help with this right now, Goddess, and do that deep inner work. If it's not with me, do it with another coach, do it yourself, do that deep inner work on your money story, because until women have lots of money, it's not our value system that's reflected in society. So then whose is it? White men, patriarchal colonizers, the old system, the old paradigms, the people with different agendas than humans being free and leaders and radiating their light and creating and having amazingness and fun and joy. Fearless expression, the microphone, fearless expression. Like, are you fearlessly expressing yourself? This new moon taking up space in your identity of who you are, of your expression of you, and like, how do you deal with threats? That first house is how you deal with threats. So this is a new cycle of the way you deal with threat, realizing that that's the wounded ego and the damaged ego. Deal with threat differently. Let the ego be butthurt to get the humility and the compassion and heal that stuff. Express, play around, experiment with the expression of who you are. All right, Capricorn. Aquarius, we're almost there, y'all. All right, Aquarius, this is in your 12th house. This new moon is hidden for you. This new moon is really something that's going to be, a confidence that's really blooming underneath, deep in your subconscious. And it's based upon your identity and who you see yourself as. It's based upon your spark of uniqueness, inventiveness, innovation, in how you handle issues and how you handle other people and offenses. And are you healing that? Is your ego wounded? Are you responding with a wounded ego? Or are you responding with a healthy ego and allowing, those issues when they arise to handle them? And so this new moon is about building the dream, building the soul life, building your connection to spirit, really integrating spirit and soul and your higher self into your life. And so this is a new way to take up space in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual world, with your gifts and your intuition and your inner knowing, bringing your gifts and your psychic abilities and your intuitive abilities, and really standing up in your power and claiming that as part of your identity, part of who you are, being confident about it. This is this new moon. This is the seed that's blooming, and it's going to take an integration of your day-to-day work, how you have given over your power, not delegated, think you have to, think you should, where you have not retrieved your power and living the lifestyle that you want, having the life force energy with sleep and nutrients and taking great care of your health in the ways that you need to for yourself, and following somebody else's dictums or societies, or not listening to your inner self that says that what you need is what you need at the time you need it, day to day, moment to moment. It's like reclaiming your power in your day-to-day life to do what you need to do for you, the deep roots, the deep feminine coming up, the intuition telling you what you need. And it's starting a whole new cycle in your mind. Like, your mind has to be unborn. You have to manage your brain and all the shit in there to tell yourself the stories that believe in you and value you and and stand in your power and claim your space in this world. This new moon is really deep, Aquarius. I'm going to pull you some cards. This card came flying out. You, the muse, so realizing the lotus, the blooming, the genius, the inventiveness that you have within you, like valuing your creative content, valuing your mind and the beauty and the downloads and the insights. Like you might have so many that you're just like, whatever, but valuing it as your wealth and your money, because that idea is what you create content with, is what makes you money and is what builds a business and puts amazing work out into the world and helps other people. Like valuing all of that creativity. You have external validation. And so it's like, where are you getting the approval of yourself at? It's like saying, value yourself. And are you only valuing yourself if somebody else comes along and says, oh yeah, that is good? You have to value yourself and believe in it yourself, which means you have to change the subconscious subliminal programming. We do that in Alchemical Goddess, fierce serenity. So it's almost like this willingness to be still within all of the downloads and the flitting and the thinking and the mind and all of the energies around and the chaos and the holiday season and all of that. It's like this fierce serenity, like the eye of the storm, being able to be centered and grounded as this pillar within yourself of centeredness, of stillness, of calm, intuitive, fierce, feminine, listening, knowing genius. Value yourself. Stop letting other people be what decides that you're valuable. All right, Aquarius, sending you love. Pisces. All right, Pisces. This new moon is in your 11th house. This is a new moon of this like really fertile seed in your audience, in your collaborations with other people, and your friendships and your groups, and who and where you're a part of and where you belong, your belongingness in the world, and people seeing your gifts and you being able to bring your gifts and them being received and accepted. So this is a really fertile seed, and this is about taking up space with other people and in the world, in groups, in partnerships, in collaborations, in your business and guesting appearances and in your audience building, you know, wherever that is for you in your business, whether it's on social media or with other people or masterminds or wherever it is, and taking up space and being confident. That is going to require you to heal anything that has to do with your joy and your passion and your enthusiasm. What is tamping that down? What is reducing that? What is the issue? What is the block? What is the resistance there? Go within. Does it take Reiki? Does it take a past life regression? Whatever you got to do, you got to go into that and you got to unlock that so that it is not holding you back, because this is big. This is about the rest of your life, Pisces. This is about big, massive changes. The seed of potentiality is going to bloom. And it has everything to do with you being the visionary that you are as a Pisces, with your dreams, with soul, with the spark of artistry and soul into the world that you're bringing, and how important and amazing and magical that is. It's about the spark of your magic blooming into the world. So this is so important and so needed by the rest of the world, but by you, for you to have meaning in your life, in this existence, in this particular incarnation this time around, Pisces. And it has everything to do with like your value. And if you are seeing your value and can convince your subconscious mind of your value and doing deep subconscious reprogramming work, because that's what we have to do to deprogram what's in there that has been installed by either past life traumas and issues and travails or this life issues, and to deprogram it and to install the beliefs that believe in your value, know the abundance of you, the abundance that you are to this world, the gift that you are to this world of being a magical Pisces being. All right, Pisces. This is really deep. I hope you're able to receive that and hear that. Changes. It's in a self-care message. So, and it's like, if you can see the picture of how, you know, it's like this, something that is like this sacred geometry that's set, but then all these, it's changing. So it's in a protection message. How are you listening internally to what you need to be fully resourced? You know, like, I just need extra chocolate today, but I'm not trying to like eat so much chocolate excessively for the most part in my life. But today I just like really needed more. And I just listened to that and I followed that. And the rest of my eating today is getting the nutrients I want and need for today. But I'm not making it a problem or an issue. And I just needed the vanilla, and I needed, like, I don't know, it's what I needed. I just listened inward. And when I need a shower in the middle of the day, I just go take one and I listen to that. As a Pisces, you need more water, get by streams, get by waterfalls, like listen, like put on a water machine of like rain. And, you know, it's like how there's changes coming. And also, like, are you fully resourced and equipped to allow for the unfolding? There's this raw intention also in a protection message, and it's a key. And raw intention is from the deepest of your soul. It's not all this mind chatter, and it's not the ego. It's from the rawest, you know, splayed open, exposed part of self. I don't know. I keep thinking of like open highway, motorcycle, like this, you know, like roadkill. It's like there's just these deep kind of messages of like the most vulnerable place, the intention from there, the purity of that. Sometimes I just can't put into words always what the fuck channels through. But creator earth. So earth groundedness, earth is stability. You know, this Capricorn, it is about that like commitment, that devotion. You know, creator earth, like, do you realize that you actually create tangible earth with your Pisces dreaming and imagining? And like that's what Neptune teaches us, that we can love things into being and bring that. And it's so amazing. We create a reality at the literalist levels you can understand. And going down that rabbit hole, it gets deeper and deeper. I'm going to pull you another card, Pisces. There's something that's not quite being spoken that is wanting to come through. Fall in love with your own story. The things that you've experienced that maybe you're embarrassed by or make you feel vulnerable. It's like, how can you come to a place with them where you don't disown any part of your experience here through this soul concarnate thing, soul coming into a body, going through all of these things, these adventures, what society says it's supposed to be, which is it's not, but yet then you still live in that world. You know, fall in love with your own story. Like, how can you find the meaning in what you've been through? Meaning is something important as a Pisces. It can be challenging. Like, what do you really want in a protection message? X marks the spot. And maybe just some pleasure. Maybe getting back into like literally this raw intention. Like that's what I was seeing, is like the most like raw splayed open. It's like maybe just it's orgasms that's needed, and like literal like connection to your body and intimacy and pleasure from like a deep spiritual soul place. Exploring that, bringing that in, it might really be what's needed. I'm sending you so much love, Pisces. All right, if the rest of you stuck around to the end as well and you're not a Pisces, I'm sharing, sending, sharing, yeah, all of that. Lots of love with you. Please like, subscribe to this video, share it with other women. Really appreciate it. It's a growing channel. If you want daily soul coaching and astrology, you can follow me on TikTok at the Goddess Astrologer. And there's more videos to come. Please come and deep dive with us in female community and sacred community into your personal astrology, and find the deepest self-love that you never thought possible. In the Goddess Retreat, you can join us by clicking the button, the banner at the top of the goddessastrologer.com. It officially begins on March 13th after Mars goes forward. more direct. We'll have this like rocket launch of whoosh forward energy. So sending lots of love. Happy Capricorn New Moon, happy catalyzing, and yeah, take up space, goddess. Claim your space, claim your confidence. Lots of love.